I'm ready.
Perfect. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Was It Good Though podcast, where we review, debate, discuss, and sometimes argue on movies and TV shows. I am one of your hosts. My name is Jazz. I am joined with Chris. How you doing, Chris?
I'm here. How y'all doing? Scratch that. I'm good. We potting. Let's go. I'm good. We good.
There we go. Come on.
We good.
I'm here with that negative energy.
All right. Well, our other co-host, Jason. How are you doing?
What was that?
I am well, Jess.
That is good.
I am well.
That is good. Gentlemen, this is episode 35.
Excuse me, Jazz. How are you doing?
I'm okay.
I say what?
Because Jason doesn't ask, so I have to make sure I got you. So
I agree.
Appreciate that.
I dropped the ball there. I do apologize, Jasmine.
but dropping balls for like 30-something episodes. This cool though.
Hey man, well, you know what? This episode is all about dropping the ball. So I'm gonna definitely get some of my shit off on this one.
All right. Okay. This is episode 35, and today we will be reviewing The Best Man, the final chapters, episode 5 through 8. This is our part 2. So if you did not check out our part 1, please go back and check that out. Or if you just want to skip part 1 and listen to part 2, go ahead and listen. So not no shade, but if you have not seen this series, please pause the pod, because of course we will be reviewing, which means discussing and adding spoilers. So before you turn the pod off, please be sure to like, subscribe, rate, review, all of that good stuff. And then once you get caught up on the series, come back and check us out and our review. You can stream this on Peacock, but this came out about a month and a half ago. So yeah, hopefully you're able to check it out. I want to throw out an adult warning. I did this in our part 1. I'm going to do it in a part 2 because there will be topics and discussions made in this episode that could be possibly triggering or sensitive to certain people. So just want to throw out a warning out there ahead of time. Yes, Jason.
I'm the sensitive.
Oh, okay. You had your hand up, so I was like, let me call on him because he might have a question for anybody that's watching. Oh, you were just agreeing.
I was identifying myself.
Okay, got you. So there's your episode warning, and then some jokes may be offensive. Yeah, and profanities and all of that. So this is going to be an adult pod episode. So don't have the kids around. Episode 5, Jason.
Episode 5, The Party. So we're getting ready to celebrate New Year's. We open up. Unfortunately, we have Silver. We have Jordan. They're out at feel like a neo soul concert, maybe a little shindig situation. Listening to a neo soul artist, Miss Michelle. Can't say her last name. I don't want to butcher it. I was just funny that this happened. I was last night looking at Tanks. Looking at his Instagram page, and he sampled a song, and it sounds a lot like Anytime by Brian McKnight, but it turns out to be a Michelle song. And I was like, oh, that's actually pretty dope how he pulled that up.
How many nights do you spend on Tank's Instagram page?
That's like a wild question to ask, but I am a fan of Tank. So he writes a lot of music for people I'm really into.
So a lot.
I follow him. He's one of the people I follow. So
You don't got notifications on, right? Just checking, just making sure we good.
All right, man, relax, man. So they leave this concert. They make it to the house. Demetrius is trying to push up on Miss Jordan, but Jordan is not having it. Jazz, I'm gonna ask you, what did you think about this scene?
I'm rooting against him. So of course I was like, Jordan, don't let him in your house, especially what she did in part 1 to Mr. Chocolate. Like, no, not at all.
You're not feeling it?
No, it was just something about him, but we find out what's up. But yeah, nah, I was rooting against him.
I am too. What about you, Chris?
Absolutely rooting against him.
Yeah. What was your issue? You never watched Power, so what was your beef?
Oh yeah, I got beef from Power. I got beef because he cheated on her, but that's actually kind of funny. Yeah, I got beef from a whole different TV show.
Yeah, it's a all the beefs stem from other stuff in this show.
Is that multiversal beef? Is what that is?
It is.
Wow.
And it kind of pans over, and we see that Lucius Lyon and Cookie are preparing for a New Year's party.
Not you. Not you.
They're preparing for a New Year's party. Shelby is having hot flashes. I'm not really. I hear about these from my grandmother often, so I'm like, well, this is the part of showing the age that we're having within our cast at this point. And the dad is still tripping out. Like I said, they really never addressed what's going on with the dad, but we do hear he's still acting a fool. He's talking mad crazy. So all the staff, they're having to triple pay, double pay people to keep them around because of, what's going on. He asked his wife, is he a sellout? What did y'all feel about this? Lucius trying to sell the family business.
Is he a sellout? It's funny.
You ready, Chris?
I don't know how I feel, honestly. I feel like it's tough because, well, maybe my thinking of the motivation is skewed, but I feel like he's just trying to look out. But at the same time, I don't know if I would have sold the family business. So I don't really know about that.
Yeah, it's kind of a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because especially being at the hard work and everything that his father did to get that business going, just to sell it, just seems like I can understand why his father was treating him that way. Not the whole time, but like a little upset with him.
Yeah.
Because imagine you building something from the bottom up, and then your child is like, so I got this check I'm about to sell, that would feel away too. So I mean, I get it.
I can get it now. Like you said, he built it on his back. Like, I mean, I understand. I definitely understand. So it would just have to be a beneficial move for the family. What you to say, Chris?
No, I was gonna say, like Jazz said, he put the work in, and then it's just like it was, handed down through the family name, and then he's just like, oh, I'm gonna just sell it. I can see where he's sort of like feels maybe that's a bit ungrateful from Q, but
and we got Murch. We catch up with Murch. Murch is going through his own little I don't know if it's an identity crisis. It's more of I guess it was like an ego check, because he has just been feeling a way about different things just from how the crew is working, as well as the family dynamic he's dealing at home. And we kind of spoke about it in the previous episode, Jazz, of just finally finding that release. And he goes into the MMA realm. So this part of the storyline, well, it's a few things I had some questions about. We'll get to them, but this is definitely one of them. This is one of them. He begins MMA. He's doing pretty well, and and with this, like I said, I know we do our somewhat talk, but I want y'all to just kind of follow me with the story. So I'm gonna lead y'all. So some stuff is skipping around. I'm not going scene by scene, but I am going through a situation. So this is just an explainer, just so y'all know. So y'all don't have to be worried about, well, I'm going too far. No, nigga, go ahead, go into it. So MMA, he's sparring, he's doing well. The coach like, hey, we want you to do an actual match. He's like, oh look, I'm just here to release some anger. I ain't here to, but you a natural. Like the way I guess he had so much pent up frustration from 1994. He was waiting. Like that's like 30 years of just pent up anger and frustration that he's been trying to let out, and he can finally let it out. And he goes in and kicks this guy's tail in the ring. What did y'all think about Murch throwing hands in the octagon?
Oh, okay. So you went to the actual fight.
This is the sparring match. Okay. This is sparring match. It's his first bout he had.
Yeah. So Murch's storyline was probably one of my favorites, and I like it because I don't want to call him the punching bag, but he's and he speaks about it. He's like sort of rolled over a bit. So we see obviously with Shelby, we see everything that happened at Holiday with his wife and dealing with what she did before. And now in this show, he's always sort of been the butt of the joke. He's sort of, dealt with situations where he feel like he doesn't have the control, even the dynamic of his relationship, which that's different, but it also makes him feel away as a man. So I like this storyline where he's going forward, and it's a release, and then two, it's something where he feels like he has power over it. So, beating another guy up, like he can, picture someone else's face on a dude that he knocking out, and it's just like he gets all this release. And I think that was really evident with the Karen situation from the previous episodes that we talked about, where he felt sort of helpless at that moment because he can't do anything with her. The police come, he can't do anything there because of the possible consequences. And then of course, his daughter's feeling like, why didn't he maybe do more or something like that? So this gives him, okay, I'm in control of something. I got power, and it's MMA is that's a sport where you definitely, it's not like, you definitely have the advantage over the like you're definitively better than them. So it just gives him that confidence, and I really liked it.
And I definitely enjoyed seeing where his character went after this, because all of the things that they were dealing with Murch from the first 2 films was he can't keep a secret. He started the whole ball rolling, and now we see him in this, and it's just like he's standing up to folks. He's just like, no, I can keep a secret. Like, he stood up to a few people as the show went on. So I think, honestly, to me, his character development was the biggest from the entire series. But we can get to that later, Jason. Might be too early.
Jason ready to debate that one.
Right, he is.
There wouldn't be a debate in that. I'm just thinking everybody went through a different, a different trial within there. So like you can see growth development from a lot of them, not all, but from the majority of the crew. And we're gonna catch up with Robin. We're catching up with Robin. Robin is carefree, free-spirited, very giving, loving. She's out in the street, sees a homeless lady digging through the trash, and she hands her sandwich, and the daughter was like, that was our food. Like, what you doing? Mm-hmm. And she's like, we'll get more. She never know when she's going to get the next meal. And then in the midst of this, they meet Jazz Boo, Jaha. Jaha is, he's the knight in shining armor, I guess, in this situation. Go ahead,
no, Jay. I don't think that's what it was. I think it was just to have that character to make Robin feel seen.
Yes, it was somebody that was seeing her, but he was also presenting things conveniently, but it's a movie, so we know where it's coming from. And it wasn't, and you know what? And I will say, I don't feel like anything he did was malicious. Nothing. His character was very
wholesome, fine,
very
genuine,
safe,
compassionate.
Fine. Are you speaking in terms of health?
He seemed like he was in a good health.
Okay, I was just making sure what fine you meant when you said it. So, he's at this restaurant called Duke's. He's just going through the whole spiel. This is where these different large legendary jazz members used to be in here, and they have a nice kitchen back here. And he said basically presents the idea this is something where you could do your pay-as-you-go restaurant. Throughout the entire series, beyond when she was out the country, she hasn't really looked happy. Now she seems ecstatic. She hit Harper up, and this is where I'm again start my list of Harper. What the fuck? This is where it begins to happen. So we have the situation of she sent it over to Harper. Hey, look into it. We got to act on this as soon as possible. But as she's going into the house, we see another problem. The thermostat's not working. The thermostat is broken. So we see thermostat broken. Harper on third bomb. He not coming home for the holiday. Like, bro, you just dropping bomb after bomb after bomb within here, and it's just like at some point you have to like, where's your mindset to think about the family? And then Jaha, that's the guy that was just in the picture. He comes and he drops off some heaters. What did y'all think about this dynamic that is transpiring between Robin, Harper, and Jaha?
So first I'm going to get to Robin, and we're going over the restaurant Duke's. And you said knight in shining armor, and then I agree with Jazz. I don't think it was that, and it was more so scene, and it was more so support, because she wasn't getting that at all from Harper, from her point of view. But don't tell my wife to stay warm, bro. Like, don't say that. Don't make my wife's dreams come true. Like, you don't need to do that. Don't
put that light in her.
Don't
let
tell her.
let her struggle a little bit.
Yeah, don't hug my wife. Don't hug my wife. She got robes in the bag. Don't do that. No, but I don't think it was malicious. I think, like I said,
No, I agree.
it was just support, and I think she also romanticized things a little bit. And I think this is just my interpretation of it. But I think they did a good job of showing that romanticization of him through what Robin sees, because even when they were at the market and she was like, they close up on his beard and his face and everything, she was, looking at that. And even with this, he's like giving her a hug. It's an innocent hug, but to her, she's just like, oh, like, this is nice. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I ain't gonna say it's malicious, but yeah, don't tell my wife to stay warm, bro. Like,
I don't think I don't think anything he did was malicious.
I don't either.
No, he was just a wholesome gentleman. He complimented her necklace. He was bringing warmers because it was cold, because it was December. So he was just a servant of the Lord.
Yeah, okay. I will say this though. Seeds were planted a little bit. He was filling it out a little bit.
He was.
Yeah, so.
But Bird Box, like.
Yeah, Jazz is biased. So
Jazz gonna close her eyes to the violence that they're portraying out here. So
what?
Yeah, we catch up with not LJ. We catch up with Lance. He's speaking with them, LJ, about a player that they're scouting for football. And LJ like, I gotta run. I gotta get up out of here. And he was like, where you going? Like, I thought you were gonna stay here and we're gonna look at that. And I gotta link up with Ken. He said, Ken, that's like your cousin. And question, do y'all, it was at any point in y'all life that y'all grow up with somebody that's like family, y'all look at them just like family? It's like over with, like in regards of like ever dating them or trying to date them?
You mean, do we have friends?
Like, no. So in their situation,
right.
Shelby and Mia, like they're like sisters. So they have kids. So like if they wanted to date, that wouldn't be an issue. But we grew up together, so it's kind of like we family. So I could see why family would think it would be an issue. Like, is that you don't get what I'm asking?
No, I do. It's just weird they cousins for real. That's kind of weird.
Are they cousins for real?
I mean, cousins of Jace. I don't know. To me, that would be kind of weird.
When you was growing up, did you play house?
No, no, I didn't play house.
You played manhunt, huh?
What is manhunt?
Oh, okay, so never mind. Nothing.
We didn't play house.
How'd to go get it?
No.
Okay. Yeah, Chris was wholesome. Okay.
Jazz,
what about you? What is this person off limits in your mind? I know you look at a lot of things a lot differently.
I would say yeah. I would yeah. But then if it was somebody like that and they grew up fine, I'd be mad. I'd be like, damn. But then I'd be like, maybe if I was in that situation, my energy would change.
Yeah, nah.
But I guess that's like if you're in a situation to where you meet somebody and y'all are dating, and then you find out that y'all cousins.
Yeah, that's a little different, but I get where you're going. I get where you're going. Faith calls her dad. She broke an ornament. Typically this is what her and Mia do as a family tradition at the end of the year, and he's paying attention to his kids best he can. I feel he's doing the best he can as a father. So he says he's going to go ahead and help his daughter, help her get everything taken down so she don't have to worry about it, so she don't have to stress. We catch back up with LJ and Kennedy. They're in the house over at Nelson Mandela from the Winnie Mandela movie house, and they're in the room. They're having a good old time. They just playing their makeup. They're listening to Saucy Montana. They begin to take out doing their strut. They're doing some walking, and Q busts in the room like, what the is going on? Y'all making too much noise. And he like, huh. And so we have this funny montage where he reaches out to everybody. in the friend group. And what did y'all think about this scene? And how do y'all think he handled this well?
No, he didn't. He didn't handle this correctly at all. But I feel like if it had to be Q, that's how Q would handle it. Like, that's the Q way of handling that, because he was just like, let me call Jordan first, because he's LJ's godfather and she's the godmother. Of course, Jordan know everything. And then he just like, oh, let me get Murch on the phone. And then here goes Shelby picking up the phone on the other end in the house, because she having her daggone, she was having Shelby flashes. Jason
Hot
looking at me
flashes.
all confused, and I'm just like, you said it earlier. But just to get them all on the phone, and then he's also texting Harp. Like, so yeah, I feel like that's how a lot of friend groups would treat that situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was about to say, I think he handled it the best.
I did too. I felt like he did. Well, I mean, what was he going to do besides keep it to himself?
Right.
Sorry to cut you off, Chris. I think it was cool for him to call Jordan.
Yeah.
But Murch, who almost spilled the beans, like, and everybody was on the phone, it should just be between him and Jordan, because Jordan knew everything.
I like.
I mean, but how would he? I mean, I guess he reached out to her because she's the godmother and he's the godfather.
I just said that.
You said godfather, godmother. I mean, I said why he. I don't know why he. I mean, in that situation, I would have talked to my wife. Why would I reach out to Jordan? I would just talk to the woman in my house.
I would. If you had a ranking of who you would reach out first, it would be Jordan, then probably Robin, and then like everyone else after.
Not Robin.
Robin not in their friend group.
No, I'm saying if you like from the characters, like if you had someone who you would choose, it would be Jordan and then Robin and everyone else. So I think he handled it perfectly, because Jordan is they're more. I don't want to say they're more caring than the others, but they would be more understanding. And Shelby kind of be on 10 sometimes, so you gotta watch that.
That's his wife though.
He know his wife. He know it better,
right?
And I don't know, like I said, this conversation, it was just funny. He was learning about what cisgender mean. He was like, I'm not no cis. Like, he was like, that's what what you would be, and this is what he prescribes to.
What they prescribe to.
That what they prescribe to. Yes, this is true. This is true. And Murch, kind of like what Jazz said, and he was like, you know what? I'm not the same person I was 20 years ago. I can keep a secret, so fuck y'all. And so Murch development is a crazy development. And then so we have Silver, and Silver is cooking for Jordan. He got this ragu pasta going on, and he helps her release her stress. But I feel like he did some good stuff. It's just I don't know.
You can't get past the actor.
I can't. He's like a play type person too. So he goes like and singing and all that type stuff. Outside.
He looked like a play type person.
He's a theater.
Yeah, he looked like
a theater type person. And Jazz, he offered to take her to Paris. What you doing?
I'm going. Look, Jordan dropped the ball a lot. You either going to your homegirl's New Year's party to Paris? I'm going to Paris. She didn't make a lot of good decisions.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you got Lance with his old man rule. He's going through looking at scouts, and he run across Jasmine Page. We see this often in our group chat where somebody hits the button and they mistakenly calling somebody, and it's just and if you try to push back on it, it automatically calls back. So he's speaking with Jasmine. And I guess she's not coming to him, but she's giving him something that he hasn't felt or haven't seen. So he's opening up to what she's delivering, and she's like, "You can talk to me. I wouldn't have asked if I didn't care." I love the way they they write it. It almost feels kind of cheesy, but like I feel like this is what the ideal situation would be if it was a healthy, because we have the toxic in here as well. But it's in a healthy situation, this is what it may actually sound like, or how to receive it, or how to give it. So I enjoyed that. Did you guys have anything within when talking to Jasmine?
No, I thought it was just funny the way it happened. But she called right back, so she was feeling the kid.
But I say it's just like the IG. If you hit it, all you gotta do is press it again. It's going.
She had just posted a picture. So she had the app open already.
She knew what she was doing.
She's shooting across the world.
Mr. Sullivan, Lance.
Right, the accent and everything.
So they, we're getting ready to put the party about to start. Q is talking to Kennedy about the party and telling her about she wants to go to this ball. She wants to go to the ball, and he told her, when she started getting her grades together, she will. And he was like, why don't you call me daddy? Because that's something that has been bothering him. But given the situation, it was 10 years of her life, you Uncle Q to her. So I get where he was trying to go to, but he also got to understand, like, this isn't the situation I was accustomed to. He was a completely different man, and now you got presented to somebody else. So just them being able to accept it or being able to go into that, that's how that situation is going to go. And they go downstairs. Party guests coming in. We got Murch and Candance. I think they pull up first to the party. Then we have who is not right? Yeah, not Robin. They
Jordan.
find out Jordan. Yes, Jordan. She comes in. They have a nice layout of different drugs, edibles. These are drugs, edibles that they have on this table. Which one, Jazz? Did this spread look like a nice spread to you? It was just a question. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
It did look very inviting. It looked very inviting. So yeah, it was nice. I actually liked the spread that they had. I thought it was really really cool. For New Year's, everything gold.
Yeah, now they had everything laid out. It was super, super dope. They find out that LJ, he quit football, and this is like the first time Murch was getting close to revealing, what's going on.
I love their. Sorry to cut you off, Jason. I love their relationship because as soon as they got to the party, they was like, "Y'all want some edibles?" And I think it was Candance was like, "Are you sure?" And Murch was just like, "Fuck them kids."
And they just was. She's I love their energy, and this is what she goes to.
Well, yeah, it's because they were. It was because they were able to come together and both eat edibles, so they were able to enjoy the high and not have to worry about anything. That was.
I mean, they did the ayahuasca in episode 2, so I mean, they've been enjoying life and
which I'm just like, yes, for them, for them.
So I think Lance, he's telling Q about Jasmine. He was like, she too bad she about to get married. He was like, well, I think they let the relationship go. Quit lying, bro. He was like, no, I'm pretty sure that situation was canceled. He said, you gotta look that up. He begins to look it up, and then they talking to Murch again. He was just super high, but he's expressing himself best he can. He said, and this he was talking about he be beating him up and punching down. He talked about the monkey paw, but he beat up Q in the last movie when they was in the car. Using this. About the using the monkey paw. And everybody just having this conversation, Jordan lie about why, how she had to be at this New Year's party as opposed to going to Paris. And Shelby was like, don't use me for no lie. That's just what you chose. That's what you chose to do. And just we think about what did you think about this scene or this situation with Jordan?
I thought Jordan made a mistake. Like Jordan's situation is so weird to me. It's like you always working, you got control over everything. But when something comes across your path that will benefit you in a healthy way for your mental health, girl, you say no. Like Paris, I'm not saying no to Paris to go to my homegirl crib who lived down the street or probably in another borough because they're in New York. But Jordan took a lot of L's in this series.
She did.
And the first one was Mr. Chocolate.
But she did say that, when she messed with Demetrius, it makes her digmatized. Well, she said dick dumb, but she gets kind of mesmerized into what he does and how he's doing it, And he kind of mentions in the previous conversation is like, I can read the room. I can see you. I'm not. I can't continue to chase you. You're just going to continue to outrun me. And she decides to text him. You know, hey, I regret. I made a mistake. I want to open this year up with me. Some kind of way he pops up in his house. You know, like I don't see never seen a person open the door for this brother. He just there. Like I don't know. But in the midst of this, we have two different things going on. LJ and Kennedy, you know, they decide to go ahead and upload their picture. They said they're not doing closets, and they not doing, what was the other one? They're not doing
New Year, no closet or something like that.
Yeah, no closet. It was something else that they said they weren't doing anymore. So they posted it. And Robin, in the midst of it, she gets a text message from Jaha. He tells her, you know, the place got sold. Somebody else bought it, and that just demolishes her spirit, her everything that she felt was gone at that point. You can see it. Lance is on the phone with Jasmine finally, but he put it on pause to go make sure the friend was on. And am I the only one that got in here like he finna get his lick back? Did y'all think that?
No, I thought he was going to support her. Wow, that's crazy.
Yo, that would take a wild turn. You thought Lance? Stop.
I thought Lance would be like,
he just got off the phone with Jasmine. He ain't thinking about nobody else.
Hey man, if I can get Harper back, oh yeah. I thought he was finna
Jason.
I thought he was finna get Harper. That's what I thought.
That's low. That's worse actually than what Harper did. That's worse. Lance ain't doing that.
I mean, I thought it was. I thought that's what it was trying to lead to. But I'm glad it didn't. It was a wholesome moment in him telling, her that although he does some selfish things, he is a good man, and he does. He's kind of farsighted, but he does have best interests at heart. He sends a message out to not Lance. He sends a message out to Harper, like, get home. I don't care what you need to do. Get there for your wife. But in the midst of this, unfortunately, Shelby has a Finsta account, so she's following her daughter, which I'm glad I don't have to do this yet. Knock on wood. I just follow from regular pages. I haven't had to make a fake one to follow to see what my kids are doing. But she's following her daughter. She sees a post come up. Everybody, I guess, eyes are going out. Let me say that, so we don't make it an ageism conversation. Eyes going bad. Pull up. They can't pull it up. So they, what everybody do now? They put it on a different screen. They want to put it on a larger screen.
Who does that?
I do.
When I saw that, I was just like, "This is terrible."
That just seemed like a terrible idea.
Because you have no idea what she posted. Like, you don't.
I mean, but if she posted it and you can see it for everybody, hopefully it was meant for everybody to see, right?
I mean, sure.
Maybe not at that time, but
so that video reveals you everybody like, we need to take this down. And Lance's New Year is kind of ruined for him. You see his child, modeling, wig, makeup. He's flipping out. Like, well, this time he didn't really flip out, but you could visibly upset, very angry looking in here. And he takes LJ outside and he's speaking with him. Excuse me. He asks him, what is this? What we have going on? He told him he's non-binary. He asked him, was he gay? He said, I truly don't know. He said, so are you a woman? And he was like, well, sometimes. And he was just telling his dad, like, I thought I had to choose who I want to be, and I don't have to. What you got, Chris? You would just say,
you just keep saying him, but I get it though.
It's
just funny. It's just funny in the context of the show because he kept that's what Lance kept doing too.
Yeah, kind of make trying to go out, and I wrote it the way it needs to be said, so I can make sure I say they, them. So I do apologize.
So are you Lance this week? Because he was Q last week. So
yeah, I'm Harper this week. So so yeah. What y'all think about this conversation with Lance and LJ?
Tough combo. But it's one of those situations where Lance does not want to accept what his child is. Like, even when he was saying, "Are you a woman?" You feel like, and he said sometimes, and he was obviously confused because it's something new to him. But I'm sure he knows about it in some regard, but he just doesn't want that to be his kid. So he's just completely upset. And I mean, at that point, he's strong on his faith, so he's standing on his own beliefs instead of actually what his son, or what his child, is, and accepting that. So that's sort of blinding him from that. And then I think it's also confusion because he doesn't feel like he's equipped to handle that. And we see later on, where that ties into Mia as well and how I feel. So
yeah, and definitely for this, I think in Lance's mind, he was just like, this is something that LJ is going through. This is temporary, this is generational. He was just like, this is probably something LJ is just going through. It's a phase.
Yeah, he said that.
To where he was just like trying to make it as a short-term issue without actually having a conversation with LJ. So
just wow, because LJ is like 19 or something. So it's not like a little grown enough to be past the phase. But
yeah, exactly. But just different generations. I like the way they did that as well, just showing how different, just dealing with the way of today. And just being able to accept. Murch's Candance, they make it home. Kelly then ate too much food. Keisha then ate the edibles. She's over her anxiety. She's feeling good, feeling great. She's taking pictures, got her little dress done. She done sent pictures to LJ, and Kennedy. She's finally over her anxiety. Jordan, what you gonna say, Chris?
I was gonna say, I bet all them edibles. Wouldn't worry about nothing.
Probably was the edibles that Murch couldn't get returned when he was in out on that in Saint Pierre.
Yeah, you can't leave those around. Just take them with you.
I mean, it was in the box. I'm assuming she knew how to get into it because there wasn't no locking nothing on that. So she just I thought that was what the point of the box was. It was to lock it up to keep them from getting into it, but I guess not. Jordan makes it home. She lets Demetrius in finally.
She left the door open.
She left the door. She leave the door open. He done came in, and then we got Robin. Unfortunately, she makes it home, empty home. You see the thermostat still messed up, not fixed. But that's the conclusion of episode 5. Did you guys have anything on that one that you wanted to address? Concern, outbursts?
No.
Emotional yells? No? Okay, cool. Episode 6, An American Wedding. We get the first trailer, which I hate. I hate trailers, but I watched this one. The trailer for Unfinished Business, it drops and it got Murch looking like a fool. Yep. What y'all think about this trailer?
Yeah, it reminded me of the Wood. Like, it looked just like the Wood. I was just like, oh my goodness. But that's funny because Taye Diggs was also in the Wood.
Mm-hmm. He was. Hey, man, that was a 90s royalty there.
Yeah, they gave us Stacy.
It did. And Harper makes it home. Harper finally makes it home. Finally. He's apologizing profusely. He tells, Robin, if it means that much to you, we can find another spot. And she's like, wait, what do you mean if? Like, this was something that I wanted. What did you think about this conversation with Harper and his wife, Jazz?
I guess when we see Robin, it doesn't seem like she's always badgering him for things. She's just looking for support and him to be there with her. So for that to be something important to her that she wanted, and he was just like, later, like, no, it costs too much. Like, he wasn't even going to agree to it, but she has to make all these sacrifices. And so I was just like, Robin don't seem like she asked for much for years. So it's just like Harper. And for him to just discount it, like, oh, just get another one. It's just like, but that's the spot that she wanted. Like, can you imagine wanting something so bad? And then the person that you need help getting it, they just like, nah, something else. It's just like, that's all I want. So you can see the relationship spiraling.
Yeah, that whole relationship was lack of communication because she wasn't even like making her like letting her needs that not being met known. So for him, he's going along and he's wrong in that sense, but she's also not expressing it fully. So now it's just like you have that whole disconnect, and Harper's gonna do what's best for him, and it's not always the best thing. So
yeah, regardless of what anybody else feels about it, he's definitely gonna do what Harper does. And I like one piece of dialogue she did mention. She was like, you want me to believe in you, and you have a half-cocked idea. It's not even a fully developed one, and I'm supposed to believe in you. But if I'm looking for just support in something that I know what I want to do. I have a plan, and you still don't. Within this, and of course, this lands us into therapy.
This was intense.
So again, have y'all done a therapy counseling session with someone in a relationship or a family member before?
No.
How does it work? How did that work for you, Chris?
it's just a different perspective. Because it's easy to say things like myself and then the other person, then another person who's non-biased, they can see it from their point of view, and then you make a non-emotional response, or you can actually see what's actually going on, especially when they actually have the experience themselves. So I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah. You definitely have to be in a space of understanding when you go into it, full transparency as well. But if you're not in those spaces, it's not really a benefit or beneficial for you. And here I'm not going to say Harper wasn't being transparent, but we kind of see what the issue, or part of what the issue is. We see what Robin is feeling, or what she's lacking from him. It's the support, which throughout this entire rest of this series, you see support in different ways, different manners, and what a person feels is supportive and what another person may feel is not supportive, because it plays out in every relationship moving forward. And as they're doing this conversation, I do personally feel like Harper was blindsided within the conversation, because he's expressing how he feels, and then she says what she says, and he was like, well, she asked him how he feels about it, and he said, I feel attacked, and like she got mad about that. And I get her frustration, like, because it's just frustration over everything that's going on, but I don't know if it's like, because let me throw out the idea of what's right and what's wrong, right? Because it's not you don't want, every situation isn't a who's right, who's wrong. It's just okay, this is the scope that this person is looking at it. This is the scope you're looking at it. How can we get you two on the same path? And they begin to try to work through different, I guess, compromises.
Right.
Allegedly, because she says, I'm trying to be the best person for you. And she said, I'm trying to wait for you to be that person. And it's like, after 20 years, how long are we, you know what I'm saying? How long do you take the back seat to somebody, rather, I guess, to the,
Is that a question?
yeah, like,
I didn't know that was a question.
I mean, it's rhetorical, I guess, really, because like hopefully you don't take backseat to somebody, but
that's
how long?
rhetorical. I think oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I think the biggest thing for them, and like the therapist and Harper were saying, like, I'm not a mind reader, and it's not really fair for you to expect to read my mind. So it's different, because you also have to create the space for the person to feel comfortable telling you how they feel, and if they're comfortable enough for their needs to be met. And Robin just didn't feel that way. It was always like, this is what Harper's going to do, this is what he has to do, but he has to look outside of himself to make sure she's good as well. And that's just what it has to be. But I don't know, their relationship was just,
it was a mess.
Yeah. I remember something that she also said, because when she was just like, I expect Harper to know these things, he's like, I can't read your mind. It's like, sis, nobody can read your mind. You just got to let folks know. But the fact that she said, I think of you, I consider you. Those two lines, I was just like, wow, because it's one of them things to where it's just like, I go out of my way to think of things that you do that make easy for you. But when it's the other side, you don't do that for her. So it's just like an autopilot for her to think of Harper in certain situations like, okay, he's going through this because he's writing a new book. Let me make sure I'm there for him. He don't have to say nothing. She just considers him. And I guess she didn't feel like he considered her. So.
Yeah, that's where that communication came in. And then it was tough because in his mind, he is considering her because he's doing all this, as he said, for the family. So in his mind, he's like, I am considering you. This is what I want. But he's not considering her in the way that she needs. So it's just kind of like the disconnect.
It's a huge disconnect that they never seem to really connect.
A disconnect that can never connect.
That never got connected. So we go to the cards game. I'm gonna skip over the pieces here. We go to the card game with the fellas. Murch not there. We know why he's not there, but the fellas don't know not quite sure they don't know what's going on with Murch. And he, not Lance, but Harper. Harper is speaking about therapy with Lance and Q. And he drops knowledge. I feel like he was dropping the best knowledge within the crew, from different situations with the kids to the situations with the wives or the women, different stuff. And he was just like, at first it's hard to hear, at least y'all on the outs, but if you love each other, y'all can fix it. And then they go into what they thought about the trailer. I guess in the trailer, it keeps it where they don't have the scene of Mia and Harper doing anything. They keep it where it's basically Kendall and Jackson, which is Harper and Jordan's character, which I'm just like,
bruh.
Like that's mad crazy. But I mean, I guess it's in the book. That's how it was written. So I mean, I guess they have to keep. That's the hot and steamy part of it. But but like I said, we know Q gonna ask the tough questions. Q doesn't stray away. He's gonna go ahead and put it out there. He was like, "So, what's up with you and LJ? How this going?" He was like, "He ain't worried about football right now. We're gonna get him back on track." He was like, "Yeah, I ain't talking about no football, bro."
Yeah.
I guess we expected this though, right? This Lance. We expected Lance to react in the manner that he's reacting of this. Like I said, Jazz, he called it a phase. And then we get a phone call from Murch. Basically told him, I'm not going to the premiere. I'm not fooling with it. I'm not rocking with it. And but Q was like, let me get this +2. If he's not coming, we don't want to let's not let him go to waste. And so we got this situation with Jordan looking up who Demetrius is, what he got going on. And Chris, what did you think about Jordan? She's looking up who Demetrius is, what's going on with Demetrius, and her assistants tells her she's super dope, she's a boss, she got a dope wardrobe, and she sucked at self-care. What do you think about this one?
She was 100% on point. Jazz made the point earlier when Mr. Chocolate and even going to Paris, she doesn't do things for herself. And I understand the Demetrius thing because you called yourself dick dumb with that situation, but it's not to run from a good thing at the expense of you're doing all of this work. And then later on, there was a line from Shelby that mentioned something to the same effect, like it's not going to help you being a boss when you're 6 feet under. So you have to, self-care is like super important. And she was just neglecting that. And then we see, how that affects her later on. But it was good that it came from her assistant because it was someone who could say that. Sometimes like certain things hit different coming from different people. So I like that she said it from here because it was almost like I wouldn't expect you to say that to me because like I'm your boss. So it was good that she spoke up and said it. I like that.
Jazz, you have something to speak on with that?
No.
I mean, gotcha. Like Jordan's in her meeting, everybody's coming at her with different stuff she got to go into, and then she begins to lose her vision. I don't know what can just happen like that, but I mean, as we get older, life begins to happen. So
Stress.
yeah, a lot of stress. She's stressing out. Can't see, and like you said, Jazz, she speaks with Shelby. She had Shelby look into Demetrius to see what's going on there. Which we find out he's in an investment group that's like the second largest group that invests into prison reform or not prison reform, but just in prisons in general.
Mm-hmm.
And she wasn't very happy about this situation here. And we catch back up in Murch and Candance. We have one scene. They wake up. Candance like, hey, she pressed the button. That's that. She pushed it. Let's get it going. Like I said, we see a lot of scheduling conflicts right now, but they trying to cram it all in. They're finding that work-life balance when you have children, as well as doing what you want, as well as trying to do what they need or what they want. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. Next time it comes back up, Murch tries to initiate, and she ain't having it. She's like, I got get out, get off me. I got stuff to do. I gotta go finish this paper. Oh, excuse me. And they you can see Murch getting beat up. Murch getting worked in this MMA. He's in the kitchen trying to put stuff on his body. You see him eating, but I guess I'm assuming it hurts to eat. You just notice his face when he was in there trying to eat the eggs or whatever it was. He was just like, nah, I'm done with this. I can't.
I didn't, but that makes sense. That's funny.
I'm not rocking with it. What y'all think about this dynamic that's going on between Murch and Candance at this point? Because they're kind of at the impasse.
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't think it's the same as Robin and Harper.
Nothing is ever do that.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's just they both doing what they can, but they still sort of helping each other in a sense, like supportive, I would say. We see with the MMA, and we see with Robin's not Robin, Candance is writing everything. So it's not bad, but it still needs work. You know what I mean? So yeah, I like the way they did that.
Yeah. So I think this is when she has to give up. Well, she was supposed to take the kids to the family night at the school, but she can't because she wants to finish her paper. So she goes to Dr. Temple and she kind of tells him he has to do it, and he gets mad. And like I said, he's at this point, anybody that's messing with or fooling with his time, he ain't going for it. What do you think about this, Jazz?
It was, like I said earlier, like you see the development in his character. He just like, how you know I ain't got nothing to do? And then she was just like, well, is that thing more important than your daughters? And it's just like, of course he's going to say no. But he finally was in a scenario to where his wants, he expressed it. He lost because it was like either your ring fighting or taking your daughters to do this. So it's like something, you got to pick your girls. But he was just standing up for himself, not just being the pushover. So, but I think he had the most character development.
Yeah, and I agree because I like how she kind of checked him when he was like, "But I got something." He was like, "What? I'm gonna act like you didn't say that fucked up shit that you gonna regret. You gonna regret later." And let me ask you again: can you take the kids to the to the knitting, whatever the company, whatever it was that they were trying to go to? He was like, yes, I got you.
He was like, not gonna win that. It was no way.
Nah. And then we got Lance, man. Lance tripping. He bugging out. He in the LJ room, looking through the closet. Of course, he cracks open, it look like a little secret panel. And he has a lot of different clothing in the room that he considers women clothing. Because I don't want to, hear. And as he's doing this, so he goes and he buys him a Tom Ford suit. He gives him a cross like him. Hey Chris, you tripping? Chris tripping, man.
I'm not saying anything.
This is tripping. So they get ready to go to this premiere. The kids getting ready. Faith comes down first. Like they, like I said, who was it? August and the other kid. Like they just, they get a scene. They get a scene. But they kids, they I know we mentioned, why he can, another kid can carry the legacy if that's what you were so concerned with. But
We'll
August
get
was
there.
like, yeah, I think that's what August into neither though. So they waiting on the kids. Faith, he like, what the rest of your clothes at? What you got going? He joking, playing beautiful daughter. Lance comes down. Not LJ. Let me say, LJ comes down like he had like a blouse up under his suit. Daddy wasn't feeling it, which I feel like it was. I feel like that was really actually pretty sharp the way he wore that. But he was stylish, like that. I think that was one of his best outfits personally. But that was stylish. I like how he did that. But Lance wasn't rocking with it.
Yeah, because when they showed Lance's face, I thought he had like I thought LJ had like a full on dress on. So I thought that but
yeah, it was some basic man. That was some Prince would have wore. You know what I'm saying? Like that would have been that was cool. The way
Lance
he
said, "You're not
it.
Prince." Lance
And he said, I'm gonna go and change it. Go ahead and change that shirt, but I'm only changing this shirt. Just pretty much alluding I ain't changing who I am.
Yep.
And we get back in therapy. We go back to therapy. Not Lance. God, Harper and Robin. It seems like they've come to some agreements. They begin to talk. They kind of hold hands in therapy. I've never held hands in therapy with somebody. What I'm saying? It never got to that point. but
you see where it got them. So obviously, holding hands don't mean nothing.
So look, things still happen. Things are still transpiring. It's therapy. They went, and so they only had 2 sessions, and they was like, "Are we cured? Let's go!" Like,
yeah, nah, champ.
So he's super happy about this movie premiere. Therapist talking about it. You can look at Robin's face. She's like, "Yeah, all right." Like she ain't rocking with it, but we do find out. She said she's not gonna make it, and he's just like, "Wait, what? Like, well, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go?" And they go to the stoop, and they begin to have a conversation about why she can't go. And he asked her, is it because of the content of what it is? What's the truth of it? And I personally feel like it was.
I agree.
It's like just given the circumstance of the book, and in the first movie, she had already said like you put so many people at jeopardy with the book in the real situation, and you thought people couldn't see through you. You think different, Jazz?
I thought she was just trying to help people, which is why she wasn't able to go. But I mean, she still ended up going.
Yeah.
So
it was a little bit of both.
I mean, I'm going to agree. I definitely think she wanted to do her helping thing and she wasn't able to move it. And I love that they came to some type of compromise in how both of them can be pleased or satisfied with the circumstance given. Because that's what it's about, right?
Would you say she compromised?
Yes, because she could have been there the entire time. She didn't have to come at all.
So Harper.
Well, Harper kind of did.
He gave up his after party to go with her.
But hold on, that wasn't in the agreement. He did that offhand.
Yeah,
she wasn't expecting him to come.
Right.
At the beginning, it was more so she compromised to where she could be at both events.
Well, she compromised to go to one event. She didn't compromise. I mean, the situation was she misses the after party, but she'll go to the premiere. Mm-hmm. And his thing was he has to be okay with her leaving and not going to the after party. So that was, I feel like that was the compromise. So him going to her event instead of going to the after party was to show his support of whatever she was doing at that time. That was my thought process, and we'll get there though, because we got to talk about the premiere. What y'all think about the what y'all think about the movie?
Man, that scene with with fake Jordan and fake Harper, I was just
I wouldn't have been there with my wife.
and so like
Demetrius is like,
yeah,
and they're sitting beside each other.
That was perfect. But Demetrius, he can kick rocks. But I don't know. I think that's difficult for Harper because he had to have seen like a test run of the movie, so he knows the scene. So, and then Robin's face is like the whole time, and I don't know. That's tough, but I thought it was well done. Everybody sitting beside each other, and then it was funny with the rest of the friend group. They was just kind of like, just laughing, just doing it. So
yeah. I love how they portray Mia as well. In the story, they kept the BS out of it and just show her in a positive light. The kids, they missing their mom. Lance is missing his wife. Just a nice wholesome moment. Especially given circumstances. So in the midst of this, Murch is doing his MMA thing. He doing his MMA stuff. He practicing, guess he getting ready to finally take on an actual fight, but he killing it the entire time while he's killing it the entire time while he's at his practice. And we go to the after party. Shelby meets the woman that portrayed her, and she loved her. They took a picture, but she's having hot flashes, so she's like, "Hurry up, take this picture. Let me get about my business." And then Demetrius pulled up, throwing shade. Like I said, he must. They didn't. Did they say that they knew each other? Because it felt like they had just met, but they all went to the same school. Right?
They all went to school together.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Yeah, the movie look a little bit different from my POV, but you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Just a whole bunch of hater stuff." But Lance pulls Harper out. What would you think, Chris?
That's a good best friend because Harper was about to beat him up. So, I don't know. But I thought it was funny with Shelby's actor. She was like, what'd she say? She said, "You're my idol," and then Beyonce second. I'm like, come on now. Like you slicing it, like, but that was funny too.
Hey man, anything that's gonna get me into this light, man. Exactly. And we have the situation. Lance and Harper, they're sitting down. They're pretty much talking about making those moments count, making things matter, things that matter, and just making sure you don't mess it up. In there, so he leaves the after party. He just goes to support his wife. He goes out there. They raise the money they need to. They can feed all the people they need to feed. And then they get the text message, and they say, "You want to go to Dixon?"
I want some Dixon. I was like, "Come on, man, Q."
Hey, Q and Shelby, man, they lit. And then Jordan, like, "Man, y'all are wild, but I'll be there." But of course, this after party wasn't much of an after party. So what y'all have left, if nobody else is there except somebody you've been wanting to entertain for 30 years.
The love of your life.
So
forgive me, Robin. I was only there with the love of my life.
Wow. This ain't Ghost. Like
give it some Ghost vibes.
Robin definitely Tasha. That's crazy. Oh well.
Hey, she might be.
Stop. But I ain't gonna lie, I probably stayed.
If y'all stay there, like it would have been a wholesome thing. They would have stayed there, and
right.
He made it home, but the son beat him home. So yeah.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, so Harper, man, it's like we like it like 8 already. We second episode, this episode 6. We had strike 8 already for this guy. But unfortunately, we got the a triggering moment here. Candance is writing her paper. She is with Dr. Temple. As she's writing it, he's giving her notes. He's going over it. Very renowned writer. And he sexually assaults her. As this is happening, I'm assuming the cleaning lady was going through the office and sees it, and she runs out. She goes home. Murch is asleep. She is trying to process everything that's going on. What did y'all think about this scene? And did y'all expect this from Dr. Temple prior to?
So the first scene where she was in his office, to where he didn't try anything yet, I was just like, I hope they don't go down that road. I hope they don't go down that creepy professor type of road. And then we see that they did. And I was just like, shit. He waited, got closer to her. And then you think about when he was in their house talking to Murch, saying all of that stuff. So it's just, she put her guard down. She wasn't even expecting him to try anything like that. And for him to just pull that, and she just to go home and, like you said, process it. Because she was just like, a lot of things could have been going through her mind. And it's just, I'm probably sure one of them was like, do I tell Murch? Do I not tell Murch? Do I tell anybody? Do I not tell anybody? So it was just, that was a tough scene.
Yeah. I don't know. That's like I said, when dealing with it, I don't know what I would do in that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know, you don't want to upset, your lover, your husband, your wife with a situation like that, but you definitely shouldn't try to carry that burden either, because it wasn't, like I said, well, she says it later, but it wasn't her fault. That was the pig. It was all him. Nothing she could have did or made it differently. Unfortunately, that's just the fate of a situation, because she went to who she thought was the best person for not for what she needed in her situation, and he took advantage of it. So that was unfortunate. But more bad news, of course, within this episode. Like I said, Robin wakes up alone, bed ain't been touched. Damn, Harper.
And Mia's walking around the house
looking for
Daddy, 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 where's my pancakes? And he's not there.
I think we were a little soon, but yeah, I know what you.
Yeah, I remember that scene.
Yeah, it's with the
Oh.
for the pancake. Not gonna make French toast. A little soon, because that triggered me as well. But yeah, then we got Shelby and Q. They make it to the house. They lit Cookie and Lucius. They just left the rooftop party. They hanging out. They kicking it. He got his legs sprout out up against the wall, and he have a heart attack. My guy having a heart attack, man. I was like, man, don't, they can't take my boy Q without this.
Nah.
Yeah, So you talked about earlier with Robin and Lance. My mind went here with Q. I was very scared. And then it was like, what was that Al Green playing? Like, it wasn't, you knew something bad about to happen.
Man.
Like, just the way the music was playing, and like, I was just like,
for every major scene in here, they had like some bomb ass music, like, and it was just like, and
beautiful
it hit,
playing, and you just like,
and it hit, like, you were like, hold up, what y'all doing?
Yeah, nah, that wasn't beautiful at all.
Can you think of how wild and toxic that storyline would have been if Lance did sleep with Robin, and then if Q did actually have a heart attack and was out of here? People would have been so upset if that would have been the direction the show would have went.
Yeah, that'd be crazy,
man. But that's the ending of episode 6. Did y'all have anything on here or within here that y'all wanted to address?
Yeah, I think it was a point where Robin was laying in the bed and she was thinking about the food guy. What's his name, Jeff?
Ja.
Yeah, she was sort of like because you've been saying his I'm not being.
I haven't said his name at all.
She haven't. She won't say the name.
Oh, she said Mr. Chocolate. My bad.
Yeah, she won't say Jaha name for something.
Oh, okay. Well, the wholesome guy.
It's something going on there. I think she's not trying to put the mind or face name in her mind.
But no, she was thinking about him a little bit, and I thought that was just kind of like, uh-oh.
I mean, she ain't been touched in a while. Because, well, speaking of, when they were at the party, when she was talking to, Jordan was talking about all the different times or the different ways Demetrius had her when they were in college, and she was like, ooh, and she, ooh.
Never do that again.
Ooh.
I don't know why you said it, Jess, because he's definitely gonna keep doing it.
Look at Jazz, man. I'm sorry, I can't compete with you. You got it.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Episode 7. Things fall apart. The train definitely falls off the wagon. This episode kind of jumps around like crazy, but it's just more. I guess it's giving you the full detail of what was going on, what's happening at this present time, and what happens later on down the line. So we open up. You got something to say, something, James?
No.
You gotta get. Okay, you guys restroom.
Bruh. This guy's crazy.
Yeah.
All right,
Oh,
so
man.
you opened up on this episode. Q, Shelby, they in a hospital. It's 3:36. They said it was a minor heart attack, it wasn't a major. And they kind of give him a list of not to do's when he gets to the house. Was that this list of not to do's upset y'all? I mean, Chris eat like this anyway, so I know he wasn't gonna be bothered about the food part. What about the rest of this list?
That was an unnecessary shot.
Everything. Like, but obviously Shelby's only focus was one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I was like, damn. Quentin he was like, nah, I don't like restrictions on my diet, especially because he wasn't used to that. And so Shelby listening to this list, she just like, we got to take this serious. So she was gonna be strict, and we see how that panned out.
Yeah. I mean, so and that I feel like this kind of goes back into that conversation of support, right? Because she was her whole goal was, I need my husband.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make sure my husband is good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make sure he's good at all costs. And he's looking at it like, man, she's being a pest. I just almost died. I'm gonna live my life. What's that? The quarter tank at whatever they be saying in Fast and Furious. I don't know, but they gonna. Hey, what, Jay? I'm having the great franchise. Great franchise.
Can we continue?
I wasn't expecting a Fast and Furious.
I mean, because he was just basically saying he want to live his life on the edge. He doesn't want to. He's not trying to play it safe.
Mm-hmm.
Life isn't promised. After the movie premiere, we at the house with Robin. She tells Harper about this nomadic dining experience that they're going to have in Ghana. What did y'all think about this scene?
We finally saw her excited again. Because like
Mm-hmm.
Chris mentioned earlier, when she was looking at that restaurant, she was so excited. And then with this trip, she is so excited. And she was just like, it's basically for the summer, like maybe 2.5 months. And she was just the experience, because she's been wanting to go there. And she was just like, this will be something good for us. Harper didn't seem like he was as excited. He's like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, it was just, I need you to be amped up like me, because this is a great opportunity. And was this around, like, he also got the information on the movie when he got the call from his agent, and the agent was just
not yet, but you can go into that. That's perfectly fine. Go ahead, go.
And so I can't hear what you're saying.
I didn't say nothing.
So his agent pretty much reached out to him, was just like, unfinished business, we need a sequel. So we need to go out there and promote, market, all of that. Which I thought it was kind of weird, because normally when you have a book that turned into a movie, is the writer on the same promotion as them marketing the movie or show?
It depends. Because this was an adaptation, so
right.
they can do whatever so technically they can do what they want, kind of like with those TV shows or movies or anything that we watch that gets adapted. They can delete a person, add a completely different person, which a lot of this comes back up from like the first episode, which that's what I love about it as well. Murch in the first episode, he was like, if you're going to adapt this movie, like, I want some things about my character. I'm a completely different person now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I don't want to be looked at in a certain light, which is kind of where, why he was very standoffish from the actual crew. So let me see. So Shelby, she cooked, like I said, we know Shelby, she's cooking for Quentin. as much as she can. But he's not feeling it. He, tried to get offered his daughter 2 Birkins.
That's crazy. That's a crazy trade, man. He was getting fleeced like.
It made me think about Fresh Prince of Bel-Air when Uncle Phil was,
Oh yeah, yeah. The artist.
he could, and Will Smith kept sneaking him food.
Yeah, he killed that cheeseburger too.
Bruh.
That's funny.
And then Jordan went to go visit her doctor, and I did think about you, Jazz. I'm sorry. There was no surprises, right? Dealing with no surprises. I'm the daredevil on the pod, obviously, but yeah, she wasn't dealing with no surprises. And it was a possibility that she may be pregnant, but they said it could be early menopause as well. What did y'all think about this scene?
How did this scene remind you of me?
Oh, you like Team Fuck Them Kids. So I was like, oh man, this would be a damp in the damp in the row if this is Jazz. She must not be. Also, I'm gonna tell you the real reason, right?
Yeah, because that wasn't the reason. Because I don't get that. Because Jordan wasn't on that team, so I don't know where we going with that.
I mean, the Jazz is very organized, right? We talk about this all the time. Jazz
Last
is very
week
organized.
I was cheap. Now this week I'm organized.
You just want to take shots.
You are. You're a very organized young woman. And I even said something to you. The only time you step out of like your norm is when you shuffle music, and it's like albums. It's just like, of all phases of life, this is what you choose to be chaotic with, the music. But I mean, you can control it, right?
Look, keep everything on shuffle all the time. Love it.
Like to start an album on shuffle is like so disrespectful.
So it depends on what vibe I'm in. If it's some like R&B, I'll play it all the way through, no shuffle, and then it won't be on all the way through after that. Shuffle all the time.
That's funny because I remember Jazz loved Adele. Remember her album came out and she was like, "Nah, y'all can't shuffle this." They took it out. It's actually funny, Jazz.
Adele's like, because you know how certain albums tell a story through the songs as you're going down the album. Everybody doesn't do that.
Yeah, that's true.
So
So, Jordan leaves. Mr. Demetrius is there again with coffee. They finally have this conversation about the investments into the prison system. How did y'all feel about this conversation between Jordan and Demetrius?
Jazz, I don't like Demetrius at all.
I mean, I can't defend him or anything that he said because I just didn't like his character. And so, yeah, I'm glad she spoke to him about it. It was just,
Yeah. Basically he said, what you're into, it also invests in the prison system. He's like, yeah, but it's a difference in, the unknown versus versus the known and what I do know now. So it's like I can't even separate the two. So I'm pretty much good on you in this situation. She kind of leaves it in the air at that point. We catch back up with Candance. She still focused on her paper. She goes to the school, and Brianna, mom pulls up on her going crazy, which I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how I would feel about that, and I guess it all depends on if I felt my child was impressionable, because it almost gave that, like, you telling my daughter it's okay about this, and I love, like I said, we still talking about the disconnect with this conversation between Murch and Candance, because she went off on their daughter. Like, I told you about, this the black thing. I told you about telling stuff out my house, which makes me ask y'all, have y'all ever ran y'all mouth about stuff that's supposed to stay in mama house and got in trouble?
Yes. I couldn't tell you what it was though, but yeah, absolutely.
It only happened once until I got, after that, not to, keep your mouth shut.
Well, I wasn't a repeat offender. But
it's like a trigger. I think that's like a trigger for me, man. You keep everything a secret. I do, personally. Like, and that may be why. Because I remember, like, when I was like in 4th grade, we moved. We never stayed in the correct district. So we always stayed elsewhere. So we used to have to drive 20, 30 minutes to get to school, which, it may seem crazy. It may seem like normal for y'all, I don't know. But where we are, that's not typical. School is 5-10 minutes. It don't take that long to get to school because you're going somewhere you're not supposed to. My sister at school, she going crazy. We got in this new house. It got upstairs. It's doing this. It's doing that. Teacher writing everything down. We go to counseling. We sitting up in there. I'm getting interrogated. I'm like, oh my God. We get kicked out of school
because you're in the wrong district.
We in the wrong district. We got kicked out of school. I'm crying. I cried for like 3 or 4 weeks. They put me at the other school and brought me back. They were like, hey.
Like, we can't take this dude. Like, we running out of tissues over here.
I hated that school with a passion, boy. But yeah, a lot of them people over there, I'm still good friends with them. But yeah, that when you telling an 11-year-old you finna lose all this, I'm like, no, this is not the way. Were
you in Arkansas?
Never, Jazz. No, I only came to Arkansas for college. This was still a school age kid.
Not in my story. Exactly. You've been there your whole life.
Born and raised.
She crazy. And Shelby and them, they sitting at the house. They watching. Y'all know what movie they was watching? Shelby and Quentin.
I don't remember.
They didn't tell you. But I know what movie it is.
Oh, okay.
No.
You want to tell us?
It was Glory. They was watching Glory, yeah, because he was like, he said, watch out, tell me when he's done crying, I come back in the room, because he like, you got that one tear, that's that scene. I can't take it. So they sitting there, she just expressing herself and how she cares for him and she want to make sure he good. They begin to be intimate as relationship and couples do. They, rubbing, touching, and serenading and whatnot. And then she set her alarm, started checking his heart rate. And say, going. Like, wait, why you messing up the whole groove? She was like, man, look, I just want to keep you here. And he kind of, this is when I feel like this felt forced. I'm going to be completely honest. This felt super forced. Like they made him have like this big issue with her. And I didn't agree with this because it didn't feel like a Quentin. It didn't feel like a Quentin move, not Quentin that we've gotten this entire series. It didn't feel like that. So what did y'all think about this scene?
Well, I think at this point he's not the same Quentin. So I kind of see what you're saying, but I think just his circumstance and he feels like he could possibly die, you start acting out of character. That's the only thing I got.
Yeah, and I definitely think like he was frustrated because he's just like, I haven't been eating and doing all of this stuff. You sold my Cubans. So he was mad about that. And he's just like, I don't like these restrictions because I'm not used to it. And so he's thinking about just himself in that, but he's not thinking about how Shelby witnessed him having a heart attack to where if he doesn't eat correctly, it could happen again to where he could be gone. Mm-hmm. To where it's just, he's not like, that doesn't seem like it's crossing his mind. He's just thinking about himself like at this present moment. But I can definitely understand his frustration.
I can as well. Harper. It's strike 9. Harper is Miss Dinner. He's taking business calls once again. Mia has eaten everything on her plate, which I'm assuming she was a picky eater, but she finally ate everything. Then she put it together, gave it to him. And she was just telling them about her vision board that she had years ago at a previous kitchen that she was making and how she had gone on there. And I, do y'all do the vision board thing?
No.
Not yet. Okay. Jazz. No, not you neither?
I have done one before, but I don't do it every year.
Got you. Has anything from your vision board came to fruition for you, Mel?
Yes. And normally, since I don't make a vision board, I normally write my goals down. Mm-hmm. So yes. You have a
planner?
Oh boy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe it. What kind of bag do you carry when you put this in?
You can see the progression of the question, like Jason is.
But I was wondering what direction he was going. I'm like, bag, like, what does a bag have to do with it? I thought you was about to ask me has come to life that was in my vision board / to-do list.
I was going to ask you, would you like to share with us what has come to life from this board?
Sure, of course. My list last year was to pay off my credit card. Did that last year, and to get into coding. Currently doing that. So I'm not gonna say what's.
Go black girl.
I'm not gonna say what's on my list for this year, but we'll revisit. Don't fix your face.
The BB, you know what? No, I'm not.
Nope, not that.
I'm not
Jazz
even
good on that.
I'm not even gonna play. Not even gonna play. I'm gonna respect this young lady on this podcast. I don't need nobody beating me up about anything I may ask this young woman, because I may ask anything. So they going up. So Harper and Robin are going over their notes. You know, she got a new itinerary about what's going on in Ghana, and he's like, oh man, you know, I got some. They're giving me some new dates on my list as well, and it's just like I've been, like I said, this is why I was like, I feel like it's gonna be kind of like a therapy. I've been in that situation, where. Because like when you're in it, I get it depends on the person. It's hard to see what's really going on or hear what's really happening. And she was like, you know, these are the dates. And he's like, well, would I be able to meet y'all? He was like, wait, no, like that's not gonna meet what we need. I just need 30 days from you with just the family and just focus. And he wasn't able to give that because whatever goal. And I guess they kind of painted it really pretty well because, like I said, I think Chris brought it up. In Holiday, he was broke. Like this man had nothing. Like he was dead broke, lost his job, can't afford to pay. So having to drive within that, I get it. But it was like I said, he definitely was. He was neglecting everything. And you can get there, right? Get into that space. What did y'all think about this scene? This is number 10 now, but we got
It's like he made it about himself. And it's just like when you go into a conversation with somebody and you trying to share some information with them, some excitement, and they somehow switch it onto them, sharing something that relates to them. And it's just like, obviously you can see her excitement during this whole thing. He's like, yeah, my stuff changed too. And it's just, I'm not even asking you for much. Because you didn't sign off on the building a couple of months ago, and now Ghana. So it's just like, Harper, read the room for a second. Look outside of what's on your path and look at the broad scope of things. So it was just like the signs were there. He just had to look outside himself.
She didn't even ask him to move. She just said, go with me for like 45 days.
Yeah, like June to August or something like that.
Yeah.
But I thought when she said, I gave you decades and you can't even give me a month, I was just like, yeah. Like, good point.
That was hard to listen to. I'm not going to even lie to you. Because I was like, man, ooh. I was like, because like I said, I don't know. Like, you can, yeah. Selfishness, man. It's a motherfucker. That's how
Jason,
I like it. Lance and Harper, they were hanging out. They were talking about they're going to do a retirement for his number. They're retiring his number, having a ceremony. And they're also considering a sequel. I think we already mentioned that we're considering a sequel for Unfinished Business, but they want to focus more onto the Harper and Jackson storyline more so than the rest of the friends, because that's part of the movie, I guess. LJ and they have this, it's I guess a come to Jesus meeting. They have a come to Jesus meeting with Lance. He pretty much tells LJ, I canceled your credit cards. Any clothes that you want to have approved, you need to see me before you purchase them, so I can then purchase them for you. And then he kind of like he want to step to him like he want to fight his son or something. And that very aggressive tone, I don't like that in Black fathers. That's definitely a stigma we have to remove, because even with the son, Like you can have it's not necessarily, it can be soft. I think they call it soft parenting. I think that's what they say. But you don't have to lead with the whole thing of about to beat you up, about to prove how strong or how big or machismo I am within this situation. And he tells his dad something that probably would have messed me up.
Yeah, that was
And yeah, what did you think about that, Chris?
that was a gut punch. Actually, when I saw the scene, I thought he was gonna punch Lance, but I feel like that did more damage than a punch. So it was tough. But he was like, did he donate the clothes? Or he said he was gonna donate the clothes to
He's
the
gonna
women's
donate.
shelter.
Yeah, he's gonna donate the clothes to a woman's
Yeah.
shelter.
So it was just like the control thing and just him, like you said, the machismo thing. Like pretty much, I want you to do and be who I want you to be and how I want you to be. Because it seemed like even from their interactions, previous with LJ, football, like everything. I think it was in episode 3 or something like that when he was out there. He was like, "No, you need to do this better." It felt like he wasn't really into football. It was like Lance pushed him into it. So
Right.
he didn't want to accept that LJ is doing what he wants to do and he's his own person. He wants to have him be what Lance wants LJ to be what I want you to be. And that's not how you do it.
Yeah, and definitely like with him, Lance trying to handle how to deal with this. So when LJ was just like, I wish it was mom. And so it's just at that point, I feel like Lance maybe thought like, do y'all think when he said that, it's just like, damn, am I doing this right? What would Mia do during this situation? Because as we see later on, he was like, you would still love LJ.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just like, that's your first, getting a little ahead of myself, but I'm like, Lance just seems so angry. And I don't think he realized that anger that you put towards LJ, it's being translated like to hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's already, like LJ's already dealing with trying to figure out who they are. And so like family support is huge. So it was just seeing something like this, it was definitely tough scenes between these two for sure.
Yeah. I think that was part of, well, I don't want to get ahead of myself because what I'm going to say is in the next episode, but I think that was the beginning of, he was just like, am I doing this? Like Jazz said, am I doing this right? He sort of saw that, but he didn't know what to do because it was a hurt from Mia. And then it was also confusion of everything that's going on. So that's just tough.
Yeah, man. And like one part of all this that kind of gets lost, and I want to kind of watch what I'm saying when I say it. It's the expectation a parent has for their child.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We all, I mean, let me not say we all, but most people, I know I have an outlook of what I think or what I thought or what I want from my child, right? So I have a child. I know what I want to, when they get older, I want them to do this, or I want them to do that. And you have these expectations, and when those expectations aren't met, you're hurt, you're upset, you feel like this, but you can't. And if you haven't been equipped with the proper way to deal with these avenues, these channels, or these different triggers that may trigger you, you say or you do things that come off very inappropriate, very separating of a situation, and that's not your intent.
Mm-hmm.
Like, 'cause I don't think Lance didn't love his son. He just had a certain life that he had planned out for his son, and that's not how it was going. So he had a problem with it. But then it was something that he definitely didn't understand.
Yeah.
So it was a disconnect between that. It was, learning the process, what's really happening. And like I don't know how quick, how fast, but when it's coming from your seed, you actually have to sit there and listen. Because if your child tell you something, I don't care what a person has ever said to you, how hard, how crazy, how messed up, or how it make you feel. If your child tell you, it hits completely different. It makes you, it'll change you, everything. It just changes. Yeah. Shelby is, she's talking with Jordan. She's talking with Jordan about, everything that's going on with Lucius, how he's treating her and how he's treating her, how he's doing, and how she just wants to be there for him, wants to support him, and she just wants her husband to be okay. But, Robin drops the news, that she may be pregnant.
Jordan.
What I say, Robin? Yes.
Yeah.
Jordan, I'm
Robin.
sorry. Yeah, Jordan. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So many. It's like it's 30 people now. It's 30 names. Forgive me. But
Just call
Jordan,
it Nia. Just say Nia.
I could. Jordan tells Shelby that she may be pregnant. You know, she introduced the conversation. Hey, so what did Demetrius say? I haven't told him, and she was like, "Wait, hold up. See, the other night you came back with Harper. So is it his baby or is it his baby?" And she's just like, So my question to y'all is, did they do it?
Yeah.
Do y'all think they did it? Let me ask you that.
I think they did.
Jordan and Harper? No, I don't think they had sex.
I think they did.
They left it too open. We need I need just their story now.
Wait, y'all think they hooked up?
I
don't know. I don't know.
Like you said, it was ambiguous.
Jazz,
so you don't know.
I rewatched that scene like 10 times to figure out if.
I don't think they did.
Because when we first saw it, they just showed them kissing, and then the phone rang, and it was funny because Shelby called Neil on his phone. The names are, Shelby called Jordan's phone, and he's like, "Oh, that's my phone." It's like Harper, but I don't know.
It's man, I don't know. A lot was left open. But I'm kind of getting, so we're gonna get there because it was a scene that actually kind of explains that.
Yeah.
That moment. So we kind of already talked about what's going on between Robin, her itinerary, Harper, his itinerary, a whole bunch of issues, and he was he put out there, "I'm trying to make us enough money we can make 100 ships to gun. Ain't that right, baby?" She's like, "I don't care about 100. I just wanted one." You know what I'm saying? They definitely wrote this man. I mean, but it's men. There are men like this. We are out here. There are men that just completely oblivious. What they want is what they want. What's going on with them is the only focus. It don't matter about anything else that's going on.
It kind of reminds me of when you see people online, they be like, it was like, I think it was a tweet, I don't know, but they just be like, buy you this, buy you this, buy you that. And the woman's like, "I don't want that, I just wanted your time." So it kind of reminded me of that.
And it can be that simple. The simple
It is that simple.
He's not paying in no mind. Not paying in no mind.
Right thought, wrong execution. That's what it did.
Shit, I don't even know if it was right thought. What was the thought? What was the thought?
So I'm just devil's advocate. His thought, I don't agree, and I don't think it was the case. But in his mind, he's like, "I got to do this for my family." But at the end of the day, when it boils down to it, he's doing it for himself. It's a selfish reason, but he's using his family as the purpose of why he's doing it. But we know he's Harper. We saw the first movie, so he's doing it for himself.
Because then when you look at it, what you claim is for your family is causing your family to be pushed away. Because as you see, when him and Q and Murch were talking, and I don't know if we got here yet. We haven't. Go ahead, Jason. I was like, nope, we're not there yet.
So we're going into it. So we have, Murch. He goes into, Candace's room. "Hey, I got this donor meeting I got to go to. I'm going to get out there. I'm getting out of here." He leaves. In every situation, they always say, "I love you," regardless of how they feel. They say, "I love you," or they kiss. Some type of moment of intimacy that lets them know they cool within here. But he's trying to dip out. He leaves. He's out getting ready to practice. Not practice. He's sparring, getting ready to get to the ring. He would get to the octagon. Jazz, what's that experience like for you? The first time you went out there, how was that octagon experience?
This guy,
Jason.
I'm just curious. We got somebody, a resident host that's been out there. So I'm just curious if you know.
I'll go ahead and live up to the narrative. So when I was out there, my heart was racing. Boom, 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 boom. But then I was like, nah, I'm not gonna lose, because I was thinking of Woman King, and I was like, my sisters was behind me. I gotta win.
So this was recent.
Chris, 3 months ago. So
after her swim class, she started UFC. She took MMA.
Jason, thank you for letting them know the timeline, because you can't be out there in the octagon and not knowing how to swim. Don't ask me the relation, just know they go together. So it was intense. It really was. And so it was good that Murch's people was there with him, supporting him.
It looks very intense just from what I've seen. But you know, Candance is at the house. She's still writing her paper. That's the only thing that's on her brain. She's not thinking about nothing else. The kids come in like, Mom, we need to show you something. Of course, this man is going viral on TikTok for beating people up. Now they trying to see what's going on with him. Candance sees this and she's like, wait, where is he at? And why is he doing this? She jets over there.
Jason, before the girls came in, didn't she see the alert that Professor Temple is gonna get the honorary mention of some award? And so she was having flashbacks of what he did, and she's just like, you out here winning awards and sexually assaulting people. So it was just that scene right there. So definitely.
That was definitely because that was within the time when Murch was leaving out and she's looking at the scene.
Right.
I guess she changes what she's going to write about, because she didn't take light to that situation, which is not to be taken lightly at all. So I do appreciate them showing her take action in that situation. But if you're in that situation, do the best you can. It's a lot. So she's able to go and support her husband. She goes to the match, go see him. You know, you got the guys there in the crowd. Even shockingly, even Harper made it, which it goes back to that little tidbit of conversation between Murch and Q. Murch and Q had a conversation, let's say previously, that was saying, hey, why are you going to the premiere for Harper? They were talking about the premiere that Harper was having. He was like, no, I'm not going because y'all always punch down on me, looked at like crack jokes, all these different things, and I'm supposed to be y'all friend. This is how y'all treat me, and this is how he portraying me. Like I'm just supposed to be the punk in every situation. This is what it's supposed to be, no matter what it was. What did y'all think about that conversation between Q and Murch, and I guess the lack of reciprocation for Harper when it comes to things that they do or him supporting them?
I think it was a healthy conversation. I enjoy Q and Murch's relationship because they're close, like they're very close. You don't see Murch have that kind of relationship with any of the other guys. And so Murch is just telling him, he's just like, I'm not going to the premiere. It's just not cool. And so I thought it was definitely important because like when Q told Harper, he was just like, Murch didn't like the movie. He didn't like the portrayal of himself in that movie. And so it's like some moments you see Harper stepping up to go support Robin, his homeboys and all of that, but it's just like, Harper definitely needs you to do more. And so I was actually shocked to see them in the crowd when we got to that scene when Candance got there. I was like, oh shit, the guys are here. Because I guess during my first watch, I forgot he was actually telling them, y'all, I'm fighting, because when he was at the school, the kids saw the video of him fighting because he was already on YouTube. So I wasn't sure if it was something that was a secret where he didn't want nobody knowing he was doing fighting. And then it also was funny parallel because Candance also had videos on YouTube, but opposite ends of the scope.
Yeah, completed their video. But yeah, the conversation between Q and you said Q and Harper, that was, I would say, profound. But I really enjoyed that conversation because, like I said, they're just more hard conversations. You know, he was just saying, you know, Q was saying he doesn't want to live life carefully. He wants to be able to live. We want to be able to do certain things. And, you know, Harper, you know, well, you got to make sure you're there for the family. He's like, hey, yo, Joe, ain't no way you lecturing me about family. In no way, in no way, you know. He said, nah, you're right. That's not, I can't. He said, I can't, because he said, you made a choice. And, you know, kind of like you said, he hurt Murch. And he said, you have to live with the consequences of your action. He said, hopefully, you know, he kind of was talking to himself, but he was talking to Harper too, like, but hopefully we can continue to make them. And he was like, man, adulting, that's some shit, which it is.
Hell
like,
yeah.
you can feel that. Lance was there, but Lance dipped out. Lance had to leave. He was speaking with Faith before he is it Faith? Yeah, Faith. He's speaking with Faith before he actually made it to the fight, and LJ is missing. He wasn't thinking too much into it because he was just like, maybe they are, just upset right now, so they turn their locations off or whatever. But then they find LJ car. LJ car is there, but he's not with the car. So now, everybody is becoming, stressed out in this, within this situation. And then we have Candance and Murch. Jazz, what did you think about this Candance and Murch realization of everything that's been going on within their personal lives and how they get it together?
I think their relationship symbolized how important communication is, because with her finding out him doing that fighting, and then she was able to tell him, actually she wasn't even able to tell him, she just showed him and let him read the letter that she had typed up. And then Murch is going back thinking to himself, like, this dude was in our house, trying to be so supportive, and then he's out here doing this predatory behaviors, and like Murch is in here fighting. So Murch was probably like, hey, let me just go roll up on him, like beat his ass real quick. And so she was just telling him, regardless of what would have happened, nothing would have changed. He was a predator. To where I'm glad they did not put her in a space of blaming herself for that situation happening. Mm-hmm. Because I know a few people that have been in that type of situation to where their first thought was blaming themselves. Like, if I wasn't there, it wouldn't have happened this, and this. But it's not you. That person is a predator. So it's just like they put you in a situation that made you feel like you could put your guard down, which is when they saw the opportunity to pounce. So I just appreciated how they were able to communicate with one another with everything that was going on with them. So.
You got something to add on that, the relationship?
No, I agree. They were very polar opposites from Jordan and Robin and Harper. So I enjoyed their dynamic. They were probably my favorite relationship out of everybody. I know you love Q and Shelby. Yeah.
But one thing did you mention the how are you, Jess? Because I didn't feel like I heard you mention that. The how are you between Murch and Candance? Because that was something you brought up in the previous episode, but I feel like that was something very key here.
I didn't, but you go ahead.
Got you. So because in the last episode you mentioned just asking him how he is after you found out the Karen situation was something very important, which I don't know if you was thinking about this then or it was just a thought because that's just who you are, but whatever it was, thank you. So they talk about how are you, because they were just saying like, being able to answer that. He said he's committed to his wife. He loves his wife. That's going to be his wife forever. And they was just saying, just saying when we answer, how are you? We answer it with truth. We answer it with honesty, and we just got to be real when it comes to it. So just being able to let everything go in here and not being able to hold on to anything that may be frustrating you. And I love, like I said, that's just like the smallest of things, and just how are you? Because when I ask people that, I genuinely care. Like if I say how are you, like it's not a thing of, because some people just ask it. And like if I'm just walking around, something like, hey, how are you? And I'm gonna tell you, two flat tires. I ain't ate in 3 days. Because I'm gonna see if you really like, do you like, is it like, was you just asking me just to ask, or like what was your point? Don't ask me if you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying? Like just say what's up.
Because if Jason tell me he got 2 flat tires and they eat in 3 days, like, bro, what's going on?
Do you need help? Blink twice.
Hey man, people be going through stuff, and everybody not equipped or willing to tell you that they go through things. I feel like I'm super transparent in a lot of situations, especially with y'all and stuff that I'm going through, what that's going on. But I'm just saying that's just who I am. So like if a person asks it, it's a loaded question. So don't just ask it if it's just as a thing to do.
I would say in the South, like people speak like, hey, how are you? Mm-hmm. Imagine having a good day and you just do that off like automatic, like, oh, hey, how are you? And you say that to somebody that's like, well, I just got kicked out on the street, and they just go through this whole tangent. And you just like, shit, this is not what I wanted. I didn't need to know this entire life story.
I mean, so when it comes to it, you can just say hello and just keep it moving. You say hello, how are you? You open up for a conversation. You don't say how are you. You don't say how are you if you're not looking for a conversation, right?
Yeah, Jason. In the
So you just be saying stuff just because. I need you to stop just saying stuff because some people,
but no, like
people going through stuff out here.
Jason.
Don't just be asking people how they are if you don't really want to know.
I mean, if I'm just walking through the store, like, hey, how you doing? That's it. I'm not asking for an answer. I'm not even waiting for an answer.
You in the store?
Not, but see, we're from two different areas. So in the South, people just, hey, how are you? Hey, how you doing?
You probably gonna sit there and talk,
Jason,
but I know.
Nah,
it is.
I'm just gonna keep walking. I'm not even gonna wait around for you to respond. So if I leave you there talking, I'm not coming back to hear what you got to say.
Going to the grocery store just trying to get some milk and somebody like pouring their heart out. Dang, man.
Why are you stopping like, hey, how are you? Like, I'm not, I guess don't be, that ain't polite. You're gonna do it, have a conversation.
Don't
if
pull
I'm
your heart
like,
somebody,
hey, you can have a passionate hey and just keep it moving.
hey, how you somebody
doing?
gonna think that's flirting. Oh, why is your hey extended?
Yeah,
like,
you thought that wait, you thought that was sexy, Jazz?
No, I don't. But
okay, then I wish somebody would say that's flirting. I wish somebody, man, that's like some grandma stuff. Hey, that's what that felt like to me.
It was giving me Medea vibes.
Oh, she got you, Jason Perry. That's wild.
Hallelujah. All right. Harper makes it back to the house. This guy here, man. He's talking with Robin, and they were like, "Can we find some type of compromise?" With the like we did with the premiere night, and she was like, "Yeah." Speaking of the premiere night, because I know this been brewing. Mm-hmm. This been brewing her head, and she been waiting for because, like you said, she don't like to badger him, so she waiting for the opportunity to actually speak about it when he bring it back up. So you're like, so premiere night, let's talk about the premiere night, and we're gonna now talk about what was going on during this premiere night. Jordan and Harper, they make it to the after party. Nobody is there. It's just them. I personally, 33-year-old Jason, that's today, I would leave. I would have left. I wouldn't have stayed. I would have went back. I would have been home to my wife, especially after the previous situation. I'd be like, because he's been in trouble about Jordan every episode, every movie. Like the first movie, he was in trouble because that situation came back out. Holiday, he in the kitchen kissing on the forehead. Wife pull up on you as you doing it. I'm mad at that. Jordan, I can't be alone with her. Not at nighttime, especially. Nah, we up out of it.
Harper was just, I don't want to say dumb, but like,
man. So they out take this is a date. They went out on a walk, on a stroll. They pulling up reviews for the movie.
What makes it a date though? Two friends can't do what they did before they got to her house.
I'm okay, Jazz. I'm okay, no, Jazz. Look, Jazz. Okay,
hypothetically, if it wasn't Jordan and Harper, if it was Mia gone, if it was Jordan and Lance.
Jordan who?
If it was Jordan and Lance.
They have no history.
And they're both
men.
And she's not in love with him.
Jordan's not a man.
Oh,
no,
Jordan
I'm just saying. I'm just saying what if it was those two going out, what they did.
She's not in love with him.
Different relationship.
But what I'm asking,
okay, so
it's like a date. You said what they did was like a date, and I'm saying
it felt like a date.
It's because they have history, or it's because what they were doing.
I mean, to be honest, it's a little bit of both. Jazz, have you ever been on a date where you just go walking? Y'all don't go nowhere. Y'all just go walking.
I have before.
Gotcha.
I live in Florida, beach, water, like all of that. Like
boardwalk.
New York is nice.
New York is cold. well, in January it's cold. It's not cold.
We are in. This is right after New
but
Year.
It's not cold where I am in January.
This is true.
So you can go for walks by the water and it not be bad. Man, you can go to walks on the beach.
Jazz.
And listen to the ocean.
So this ain't a date?
No.
It's a middle of January. Wait. It's a middle of January. They taking a walk.
You mean to tell me friends can't take a walk? Stop.
I mean, what kind of friends are they?
Yeah.
Is one of the friends married?
What Shelby say, episode 8? Friends? Nah.
One of them married?
Are you really not trying to see what I'm trying to say?
We see what you're trying to say. But... How about, okay, bump that. Jazz, you are married. Your husband, hold on, let me pull the time back.
Even easier. Make Jazz and Robin. Jazz
is 1:37 in the morning. Your husband told you. No. Your husband just told you he's going to the after spot to hang out with his friends. Comes to find out, he's with the woman he told you not to worry about. On what was it? What was it? A merry-go-round?
The horse thing,
on a horse and carriage merry-go-round at 1:37. It's just them. Look, just look at your screen.
Jason. Did you not hear what my original question was? I understand Harper and Jordan's history. I understand all of that.
How about this? Take the history out of it, Jazz. And you married to Harper. No. Are you cool with that?
After you seen the movie scene, what?
You ain't got it. You don't need to throw the history away. Are you cool with that? At 1:37 in the morning, he told you.
I'm not gonna be able to get it out, so it doesn't matter. We can continue.
I mean, so look, I get it. It doesn't have to be a date, but I'm questioning my girlfriend if she goes at 1:30 in the morning to take a walk with her homeboy.
I am just asking what they did. If two friends did that, people that are not interested in each other, would you classify that as a date?
I would not classify it as a date, but it could be seen. It can be seen as a date as well.
That's all I wanted.
And I'm looking at it, and I'm saying it from the other person's lover's perspective. How would you feel about that?
But the example that I was trying to give you.
Cool. We heard your example. So listen to mine now. If you was Robin, how would you feel?
Is Jaha still on my number, still on my phone?
Why does that matter? We're not talking about Jaha. We're talking about your husband is out with a woman. Well, no, he's out with friends. He's out with friends. But you find out he with the girl he told you not to worry about. How do you feel about that? The girl 20 years ago he was supposed to have sex with, but he did. He 8 years ago he was in the kitchen kissing her forehead in the house.
Yes, I would be upset, Jason.
That's all I'm saying. I feel the way.
Right, but you understand where I was going with it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, but I mean, so yes, it does not have to be a date, and I'm pretty sure homeboy. I probably wouldn't take my homegirl on a walk. It's just personal. I'm not going to walk with my homegirl. Just us. I wouldn't. No. Because that's very intimate to me. Like it's stars, nature, God. It's just
the sun might be out.
It wasn't. They met the sun too. They seen the sun. They say look, they seen the sun together. They seen the moon together, and they seen the sun again. They seen all these in one night.
A whole cycle.
No wife in sight. So they sitting at the house. They sitting at Jordan's house. She need to go back to the house so she can supposedly change clothes or whatever it was. And she brings out. I think we used to call. We did like a time capsule when we were in school, but they were in college. So they wrote down stuff, basically like a goals they want. Put them inside of a rubber band ball, and they open up and read them. So we still good with this. Not a date. They just hanging out.
I said before they got to her house.
Oh, okay, gotcha. I'm just making sure. So they get here and they open up these and did y'all do that? Did y'all have some stuff y'all wrote to yourself back in the day? Did y'all waiting to read?
No.
If I did, I don't know it is. So
okay, just making sure.
Did you make anything in Arkansas?
I've never been to Arkansas. Yeah, I don't care. I've never been there. I don't care.
They know where you are. They know where you are.
So for Jordan, her letter was to herself: you marry someone who gets you, like Dwayne Wayne gets Whitley, and she underlined "get you" like 3 times, which I wonder if that's what he was doing as well. It may not have been, because he writes. I felt like he was doing that too, like the 3 lines type thing, but it may just been like a thing. And then with his was he wanted to win the Pulitzer and then the ultimate prize, which it was just like, what's the ultimate prize? Like, and what stopped you from getting it or winning it? But I mean, it could have been a situation where she prioritized school, her future over relationship. I mean, I'm back to what I said the previous time, Chris.
I get it.
As then, like I said, as they kissing, the phone call rings, and then Shelby calling, but Harper picked up the phone. Yeah, they.
You said Harper?
Like, bruh, no. Like that was wild. Like I said, as Robin is getting into the conversation, you get a text about LJ missing. He's like, oh, saved by the bell. You know what I'm saying? Like he gets saved, they get ready to leave, and he picks up that notepad, which I feel like this was a callback to either Holiday or maybe the first movie where he was like he likes pen to pad. He still likes to write down stuff on there. Mm-hmm. And I was questioning when I looked at it, I was like, man, did she make notes on this man's book? Or like this?
Or was that him? Yeah.
And this is where like you can hear her reading it. Mm-hmm. as he's reading it, and you can just hear what she's saying, and she's going back through the entire story. And where she knows what either they did something or something was about to happen, because he wrote it so specific to her.
Harper got to stop writing.
He wrote to her job, and he scratched it out, and he changed it to make the edits where it's not her no more. Like, bruh, like your wife, like you think your wife don't know? And it just opened. So where it was sitting, I'm assuming like, yeah, she read this. Like, yeah. And that's why I guess that's where it kind of questioned, like, do you think they did more than what he said? Because he was like, this passion has been burning since we was in college, and we finally couldn't have been kissing. They've kissed before. So it's kind of the anonymity, the ambiguity of it all.
Burning since college, and they want to go out on the merry-go-round.
Yeah, that ain't the person you go to the merry-go-round with.
That's crazy.
But that was the end of episode 7. Did y'all have anything on that y'all wanted to address?
Nah, I didn't.
Yes, okay. Episode 8, Pieces of Us. Oh, Lord. Get your tissues ready. No, I'm just kidding.
You serious?
I definitely, every time it hit me, every time I'd be like, man, hold up, god damn it. He's doing it again. Goddamn Malcolm. So we open up on Lance. He's saying a prayer. God help my son, help fix my son, make him better. And then he started thinking about Mia. He went back into it, and he changed his prayer. Mm-hmm. And he was like, God help me understand my son. A lot better conversation. He was like, God, please change me. What did y'all think about this prayer, this opening scene with Lance outside with his face?
It seemed sad for me because he was like, he just looked so lost, and it was already dealing with not having Mia at the beginning when he was on the resort, and he was picturing her laying in bed, and that was like his release, sleeping with all the women. And then we get back here, and it's still, I just felt bad. I was just like, it's just a tough situation to be in, everything. So I was emotional a little bit. I didn't cry, but it was sad.
Yeah, and definitely just him realizing like, Lord, help me try to figure out LJ. And so just to try to get some guidance. And it was a very vulnerable moment for him. And then with the flashback of when Mia had LJ. them in the hospital, she's singing, and you got a young Lance with hair, still looking good. And so it was just, I like how they sprinkled her in.
Yeah, me too.
Throughout the series. It wasn't, oh, Mia is following Lance in the mirror, like in some movies. So it was just like a sprinkle of a memory of a dream. Like it wasn't too much. It was, I love how they did it because it was just a nice amount. So but yeah.
It was dope. You know, she didn't walk through no fences. You know, she didn't walk through the gate. She didn't walk in the house. Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
She didn't say pick up that phone, Lance, in a mirror of him talking to himself while looking at pictures of their past.
She didn't tell Sid to make. She didn't help Sid make popcorn. Nothing like that. Nothing.
The passive aggressiveness was speaks to movie.
She wasn't in like almost every scene. Shout out Scream 5
and 3.
And 7.
So Lance is he talking with the cops. And they're, you know, it was like, well, we do got some information about who LJ was, what is his preferred pronouns, and he's just like not understanding, not comprehending, like this is something that they go by. So this is what we have to go by so people understand who we're looking for. And he doesn't know anything about LJ. He's so disconnected when it comes to it. And I think that he mentions when he was in his prayer, like he's failing his son. And like that's another completely different hurt. And like you can feel like you're failing your child if you miss an appointment and you feel like, oh my God, I'm messing up, I'm doing XYZ. So this disconnect between them. So he doesn't know the pronouns. He doesn't know the proper pronouns for LJ. He didn't know LJ had a tattoo. And there was one that was like, well, in these situations for a child like LJ, they're more a higher chance at self-harm. So we just have to ask these different things to figure it out. And Kennedy, now, oh my God, it's coming back to me. Where he is horrible acting like Kennedy. But I like the character. Here.
I hated that, bro. Like you could have been said that, but
man, exactly. And then like so, Harper, he's still king of worst timing ever. He's talking to his wife about last night. She's like, let's focus on Lance and their family, not your lack of transparency. And then he's like, Robin's on the phone with Mia at the same exact time. He was like, everything is all good. Tomorrow your dad gonna help you make the French toast when you wake up. Then she runs into Jordan. She should have hit her.
Oh, now somebody deserves to get hit.
I mean, that was fighting the last movie. Why not? So, she looked at her, she rolled her eyes, kept it moving, no acknowledgement. I mean, she already didn't like the girl. She was already not trusting her. So This is just like, boom, it's out of there. Like
she had every reason.
I agree. So, Jordan and Lance, they go ahead and leave. They go to the house of Lex. This is one of the friends that LJ knows. And this is when you first start seeing where Lance is, I guess his wheels are turning. He's accepting I don't know if it's accepting or he's trying to say the right thing to make the situation less stressful. So he's correcting himself in the conversation, using the correct pronouns. But of course, the kid, Lex, is being a jerk within the conversation. But I mean, I get it. It's the whole thing of trying to make sure we nail it home, So
I remember I was mad.
So it's like I don't want to say this is a forced scene because I want to be careful in what I'm saying, but I do feel like I feel like our generation gets it, but at the same time our generation doesn't, right? So they had to make it plain, they had to make it simple, they had to make it easy for us to get, but also for the generation that was before us, because although we're watching this because we grew up with it, this was their movie. So them trying to come into a thing of understanding or accepting a kid is huge, because how often are we dealing with these situations where parents aren't accepting their kids? We see now, Dwayne Wade. It happens super often now where people are accepting their children for who they are, and they're more. I mean, they're close. I feel like they're closer to our age than our parents' age. So I feel like that, but like within this, I feel like they're trying to address the older generation. What did y'all think about that? I mean, am I off? Well, I didn't say am I off. What did y'all just think about that?
I think
Oh,
sorry.
go ahead.
No, I think like you said, it was. I'll speak into the context of Lex and Lance conversation, and it was just like Lex was just like, you need to get this. You need to get this. Like you said, hammer it at home. And you could tell he was frustrated. It just comes off like he was a jerk. Like Lex was just, if I was in Lance's position and I'm drastically trying to find my kid and you're doing that, I would have been like super pissed off. But I also understand Lex is just like, you need to understand what's going on with your child. This has to be something that you get, like hammer it home. And I'm sure Lex knew that. Well, yeah, Lex knew that LJ was fine. So
Yeah,
it was just,
exactly.
I guess it was just like, you need to get this. You need to understand, because if you don't, it's going to be back to the same situation, and it could be a worse situation for LJ. So, but yeah, Lex was pissing me off. I was just like, just tell us where he is. Like, where's LJ?
Yeah, I think also maybe Lex was in a situation to where I know LJ's fine, but I want you to be worried. I want you to suffer a little bit, because I know all the stuff that LJ has told me. I know all the stuff that LJ went through before he even became associated with me, because we learned about that later when LJ was just like Lex and the pastor, like how LJ was before he even knew them, and their impact in LJ's life. So I semi didn't like Lex either. I was just like, all right, so your father's already talking about Lance retiring his jersey. Like, we trying to find where LJ is. Let's talk about that whole thing later. When Lance had first got there, Lance was like, I'm not here for that. I want to know where my son is. So it's just that urgency, that worry. And Lex was just like, who are you talking about? Like, the attitude was there, but I was just like, I can understand where it came from. So my feelings towards Lex is definitely similar to y'all's.
Lex was like, we don't have to keep things in the closet around here. I was just like, bro, because the mom was like, no secrets,
Right.
Yeah.
Lex was like, we don't have to keep things in the closet. I was like,
Lex was going through it. Lex was getting it like, hey, you need to get this. Like, stop. So they get so Nia Long, she calls out to Lance. Hey Lance, I heard some on the radio, but I can't get back to it. It was supposedly a kid was found. They unfortunately they lost their battle, and they was a self-inflicted death. So yeah, they trying to look for it. They're searching for it. He finally finds it, and he calls over to the chief like, "Hey, I heard somebody. Who is it? Is it LJ?" He said, "I don't know just yet. Lance, get off their radio. I told you, get off of it. When I find out, I will let you know." So it's a very tense, very crazy, situation. I'm glad it didn't go that left with it.
Right.
But it wasn't LJ. That wasn't LJ they found. So they went to the store to take a break. They just need to break, pause everything, get some water, relax. While this is happening, Jordan gets a call from a doctor. And it comes to find out she was not pregnant.
Yeah.
But she wasn't happy about it. What y'all think about this?
Yeah, that's sort of what I was trying to say earlier, where she said something to the effect like she felt like this was her last chance to be a mom. And it reminded me of I forgot her assistant's name, but that conversation she had where you suck at self-care. And for Jordan, she's working and striving so much, but is this, well, obviously it's what she really wanted deep down. And she just felt like she's losing it. Like her health is suffering, potentially not having not being a mom is something that, she may have been looking forward to in a sense. So I thought part of me was kind of hoping that she was pregnant with Harper's kid, and then that just I just felt like that storyline would have been crazy, but at the same time, you know, like
Yep, they gotta at least make
I
some
thought-
movie.
I thought that's what they was gonna do. I'm gonna be honest.
I thought they were alluding when they said they just want the Jackson and Kendall storyline. Like that's what they were alluding for the next chapter
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
in this. So I mean,
I really thought she was gonna be
What
because
you
I
finna
paused
say?
it when the first time I saw the episode, and I paused it, and it was still like maybe 40 minutes or 30 something minutes left, and I was just like, it's gonna be something big happening, but it's cool.
That would have been a crazy storyline if it would have been Harper's after she was messing with Darius. Like, how would
Demetrius.
Demetrius? Oh,
Jazz really don't like dudes. She don't even remember his name.
I mean, situations like that they happen. It could definitely happen.
But I'm just like, he was smiling on Robin's face all those years. If Robin would have swung on Jordan, she would have been completely
sometimes
like definitely would have deserved it. So
Man, yeah.
I was sort of rooting for that low key. But
I mean, I get it. I get it. I get it.
That'd be
But
a
I mean,
crazy
given the circumstances,
Yeah.
that wasn't it. You know, they said she basically said she was relieved, she was sad. You know, everything was so organized, and it was something that was unexpected, but she was ready for that challenge because it was something different. So she was just ready for it not to go her way for once in her life. But she organized it. She knew what was going to happen, how it was going to happen. She allowed the love in or out, whatever that looked like for her. But of course, in the midst of this, they find, Lex finds LJ. LJ is at this church. I think it's called the Your House Church. Like
something
it's,
like
so
that.
it's
Yeah.
accepting of everybody. I'm assuming, I don't think as far as what accept, but I feel like they accept everybody in there that I guess questioning. So I ain't like how LJ played his daddy. When he came in there, he was like, "Hey, sit down." I'm like, bro, you've been missing for like 3 days. We finna talk about this first, my boy. You ain't finna just, we ain't doing that. We not doing that. We ain't.
But it had to be done because Lance had to understand, and he wasn't going, and it got dangerous to the point because he sold their clothes, and it was that controlling aspect, and it got dangerous. And LJ was like, "Nah, you got to really understand it." So I get it, but in the moment, I was just like,
"Yeah," I was like, "Man, hold on, they tripping.
Yeah.
They is tripping." And so they sitting there, and he was just, I loved how he said it. He was like, I'm told, I'm not accepted in God's house. I'm not accepted in my house. So like, where am I accepted? Where can I go? Because there is nowhere for me to go. And this is what I found for myself to be able to be me, to be able to be free, unjudged. And so truly this saved my life. And like you said, you have, Lance accepting, and what he told or what he said to LJ as well. What did you think about this come to Jesus meeting between Lance, LJ, this situation, Jazz?
I thought it was very important because I'm glad that we were able to see a change in Lance because he was so close to thinking that he lost his son, his firstborn, because when they were trying to figure out if that was his body that was found, he was trying to rush to where they were at. And then it was like, okay, it wasn't him. So it got to the point to where he was like, I need to understand who LJ is, what LJ wants to do with their life, and get to know them and understand them. Because if you don't, it could have been a totally different road, that could have happened. And so I think that's very important as a parent, as a partner, as a friend, all of that, to understand that individual, because we all go through different obstacles in life. Y'all are Black men. I am a Black woman, like, especially when you're a minority. And so you have individuals that go through so many battles day to day, and that chips away at you every single day. So it's just, we all fighting battles every day. So it's just, when you got somebody that supports you, understands you, that makes you feel like I want to spend another day fighting. because some people get to the point to where they're just like, I don't want to fight no more. So it was definitely a really tough situation that was here. I'm glad that they touched on it. And it's also important, like when I think of when we review things like this series, like P-Valley, of like different tough topics that we cover and discuss on, especially in our community, because a lot of folks don't want to talk about it. So
Yeah, you would think things like this wouldn't still be an issue, but just like racism, still alive and well. Some things are just, some people just don't want to change. They don't want to progress. They don't want to move forward. And it's, everybody needs somebody, you know? So hopefully, you know, this is your struggle. This is something that you dealt with and know somebody dealing with. Be there for them, support them. The best, you know, best you can. They bring the family home. Everybody is excited. Everybody happy. LJ is alive. He's hugging everybody. You know, they're just rejoicing for the most part. We wake up the next morning. Mia, oh, heartbreak.
This was
I
sad.
felt this as well, because I mean, you never want to upset your kid. You never want to hurt your kid. Like, I don't know what Harper was doing, but they expected him to be there within that situation. So, you know, he wasn't there. So we flash forward 4 months later. You know, they're going through a divorce settlement. What did y'all think about how this played out?
Messy. It was messy. It was I think the worst thing was when she talked about, is this when she said we're moving to Ghana, me and Mia? And he
Yeah.
was,
That's when he found out about it.
I was like, y'all getting a divorce and it's still miscommunication. And it was just like, that's just a rough situation. And you know, even when you talked about Lance and his realization that he could lose LJ, now, you know, it's gotten past that for Harper, because he's actually lost his family. Like, he was doing all of this to, you know, as he said, be there for his family and support his family. Now he realizes they're all gone. You can't really, you know, like your child going to a completely different country, and it's just blindsiding you like that. It's just, I felt for him, but that's what happens.
When this happened, I was just like, Robin, that ain't right, sis.
That was terrible.
I was like, that's not right, sis. And because Mia's still young. And I was on her side for a majority of their back and forth. But this one, I was like, nah. That was tough.
Yeah, the Robin situation is so tough, because I feel like I'm not saying she's at fault, but it's just kind of like she didn't feel like she could tell Harper like stuff. Like, even when they had the therapy, she was like, you know, y'all can't expect Harper to be a mind reader, but it's just like you have to create the space for her to say that, and it just never was there. So that's where the miscommunication was there the whole time, and that was just tough.
I mean, I guess it could be a situation to where she's been in so many different scenarios where she let Harper know she wants something. Okay, I'll look into it, and it doesn't happen. And we saw the example with the restaurant. She was like, I really want this. This is all you got to do. Contact the realtor. And he couldn't even do that. And you saw scenes where it was just them at the house. Like, Harper wasn't there. Mm-hmm. Soon as Harper get into his zone, it's just, he's there and he's gone. Harper, so it was just.
Yeah. He made me so mad when he brought up, but he said something to the effect of like, you always start stuff, but you never go through with it. So I don't know when you're serious. Something to that effect. So I was like, bro, like.
When he did that, I said, that's like when you're in an argument with somebody and they try to throw everything at you to prove their point that has no type of connection to what y'all are talking about. And it's just like, oh, but you did this, and it's just like, you trying to blindside me with those, but that has nothing to do with you being at fault right here. It's like a misdirect. I was just like, when he did that, I said, my nigga.
I hated Harper when he did that. I was just like, dang, bro. But
I feel like they build it up to where you can't root for his character, because it's just like, yeah, she's wrong for trying to move your child to another country, But my nigga, it literally, if you would have got ahead of it, things could have been different. If you would have taken time to go with her for that month and a half, things could have been different. You are an author. You can literally write a book anywhere.
That's what Murch said.
That's what the guys were talking about. In the next scene, they were just like, NQ/Rhodey, Iron Man 1 told him, was like, you do what you need to do to stay in your daughter's life. But it was never an idea of go with them to Ghana. That was like, no.
It wasn't like he shut down the idea before we even got before it was even conceived.
He didn't even try it.
And I don't just given the circumstance of actually being in a situation like that, I don't know. I don't think Robin was wrong. Just like I said, just thinking about, like I said, pretty much everything that she had told him or that she wanted, he wasn't willing to give, and she said the door was always open. So he literally could go to Ghana if he wanted to. He could do whatever, everything he wanted to do, he could still do it from Ghana, but that's not what he wanted. That wasn't in his plan. It wasn't what he wanted, but he couldn't control that situation. So it was just like, no. So everything was a problem. So he tried to go through every other avenue in that. And like I said, it'd be different if she was making it a difficult situation for him. She wasn't. You can come, you can move over there, we can do this together, we can do XYZ. It wasn't a problem. But because it wasn't his idea of what was supposed to happen, it didn't go that way. And like, Murch, he kind of told him, don't do a cussy battle. It hurts the kid in the end, and it gets super messy. They go to they're getting ready for the Lance retirement party. Everybody looking for Harper. He's in the house missing for whatever reason. And Robin busts through the door. Where is he? Where is he at? And like, not a big fan. I'm be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of Sanaa Lathan when it comes to acting.
Oh, wow.
What?
That's funny.
Oh, you got hate. You got hate in your heart. That's crazy.
But this scene here, I felt it. Everything every line, every bar, I felt she delivered it. Like I'm just saying.
What's the standout acting performance for you, Jazz? Fascinating.
That's what I'm about to say. Well, name some standout.
She played a solid villain in the movie with Denzel Washington.
Out of Town, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She
was Out of Town?
Yeah, no, that's what it was.
I thought you was gonna say Tyler Perry movie because she definitely played a great villain in there too.
You know what?
She sold that slap too.
She did. She
got knocked over the counter.
She was a solid villain in that. I was wanting Taraji to beat her ass.
She was just dumb. She was dumb in that movie.
I was like, sis, because you see her in so many films where you're rooting for her. Love and Basketball, The Wood, The Best Man, and then it was like, oh, we're gonna throw a scene where you a bitch. And it was like, Sanaa. But
yeah, so yeah, but this situation it gets played out in front of their friend group. Everything finally plays out. Harper, like I said, everybody has had their chance, but everybody has had their turn. But now it's Harper's turn to get it back, because he's giving it to everybody. He's put everything in front of everybody's doorstep, and everybody had to face the music except him. So now it's his chance to get it. And like I said, she told him the door is open. You can come if you want to. That's not what you want to do. And he told her everything that you're doing is selfish at this point. And he was like, oh, I'm selfish, but you wrote the book on it, and everybody was like, and I'm just like, everybody reaction in this was just like, it was funny, but it was like they tried to balance it, because it could have just been super ugly if you want to look at it a certain way. And like, you never want to be there with the friend group, because they have to pick. Everybody has to pick who they're gonna ride with, who they're gonna side with. And then he went to Candance. He told you to mind your business. Then him and Murch kind of got into it.
And I loved it, because that's Murch standing up. It was just pretty. That little scene was great, because it just continues on the character development, even though it wasn't about him. But I like that scene. I was just like, yeah.
Did y'all notice in this scene, well, where Murch stood up to Harper, he was speaking on it. He was just like, you selfish. But when Shelby called Harper out, you saw that he had fire for her. Like, he didn't say nothing to Murch when Murch was coming at him.
Well, Shelby, I think for Murch, Murch with Shelby, he sort of felt like she was being
a hypocrite.
A hypocrite. Because, you know, she said something, I forgot what he said.
She was
I forgot what she said.
She was like, it's a mother's job to protect their child and do what's best for them. And that's when she was just like, he was just like, well, wait a minute.
10 years and you ain't
he said, I disrespectfully disagree.
That's a bar.
He said, was it a thing for you to keep Quincy out of her life, putting out her life for 10 years? Like, I don't want to. And then Quentin was like, you go, boy.
Yeah,
Shelby's like, what the fuck you say? He's like,
Will Smith on
keep my wife's name. So fucking mouth.
Yeah, how did y'all feel about Jordan in this scene? Because I was like, Jordan.
I mean, she took her for a man. What was gonna happen?
Yeah, she wanna go take Robin's side.
Can't take Robin's side.
But it wasn't even Robin's side, it was Shelby's side. Because Robin was gone by now. This was like when Shelby and Harper were going at each other. Oh, and that's when Robin was just like, you need to relax. She was like, bitch, what? Like, where did you even come from? I feel like in this scene, Jordan should have just continue watching. Like, don't even get in it. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Because
it has everything to do with it.
Like, literally the reason.
But I'm saying that's the problem. At that time,
Jordan should have just, like you said, Jazz, stay out.
She should have just dipped, if anything, but it had everything to do with her.
Yeah.
But I'm like,
Jordan, you was not the person to be trying to count down nothing.
Jordan is a villain. Jordan is definitely a villain in this series. But
yeah, she is. He goes to the retirement, the number retirement for Lance. Excuse me. Lance introduces his kids. He introduces them, Lance, LJ, to the people. So he's going to blaze his own trail. He's not going to necessarily follow in my footsteps, besides just being a good man, there. And I see the other two kids. You see August. You see the other little baby. They don't have no lines, but they pop up.
Remember
how many years have went past? Because August seemed like last time we saw him, he was like maybe 5, but now we see him, he looks like he might be 8.
It's been, so truly, it's been like 6, that was 2013, and it's 20. So it's been 10 years. So now he should be at least 13, 14. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't look 13. Like he looked like he's not getting older.
Benjamin Button.
Yeah, for the moment, yeah. So, Lance speaking with Harper, and Harper was just, he said, man, I think it's my turn again. I messed up your big moment. A little about some little drama. He was like, little drama? You sure? That's what you want to ride with? Then he was like, man, you good? Come to the table. We can have drinks. We can talk. He was like, nah, I'm good. He goes to the house, dealing with his emotions, his feelings, because he done dropped the ball. He done fumbled everything. Lance, Jasmine conveniently works at this hotel that's catering the dinner for him. They reconnect. They have a conversation. He introduces her to the kids. Yeah.
So I didn't like this scene.
I'm gonna say something after you, Chris. Go ahead.
It just felt like they obviously have, and I think earlier, I forgot when they were texting, but he said something to the effect of like, your husband. And she was like, we not on speaker terms. Right. Okay. So I get that. So they're obviously not going to be, they're obviously setting up them to be together. But like, you move from a whole different country, you work at a hotel in his city, and then his retirement party is at that hotel. You don't say nothing. Like, you just look across the room and she's lighting up the room.
Chris, that's what it means when they say Mercury is in retrograde.
Okay, that's why I was nonsense to me.
That's what that means.
It makes sense now. This makes sense now.
when all the stars are aligned, when Gemini is in Saturn, when
The fifth house of the first moon.
when the
was
sun
like,
and sun are down on the marble lord. That's what all of that means. It's like everything comes together.
I was like, this is crazy. Like, but
how convenient is that?
how convenient is that? Wow. I was just like, okay.
Did you have something else to touch on that, Jazz? Sound like you thought about it. Or
Nah, I thought it was cute that he was just like, oh, you in my city, you didn't let me know. She was like, Mr. Sullivan, Lance. She was just like, I picked up a job and it was in New York. So chances are they were probably paying really good. So sis said, let me go ahead and leave out of here. My fiance didn't work out. Let me get a fresh start.
yeah, she
So
got New York, cover all
so
cities.
she would,
In the world. Look at, she was in St. Pierre. She went to New York. I ain't no way in hell.
you know, the rest probably fucked up her vibe, but you know, it's like
money was good, I guess, like you said.
Yeah. So she was like, I wasn't feeling the weather, but the people have been nice, which I feel like that was a lie. She in New York.
Bingo.
But I thought it was funny then with her Lance introducing her to the kids. I thought that was cute. So
it was. That's a big moment. Bringing them into it. Well, bringing kids into somebody you interested in, because they ain't even dating just yet. They just
he's in love.
Yeah.
He was in love with her. Right. Once he woke up and it was Mia then her. He was like, oh.
It's time to move on. So Harper, he hits up Quentin, let him know he moved. He in a hotel now. He's not at the house. Roy, Quentin, it's like, yeah, all right, this dude here, man, whatever. Kennedy comes in, he talking. She's like, God, dog, I can't get no respect in the house. And I thought he was faking. I thought he was faking when he fell out, and then she called him dad. He like, you call me dad? Shoot, I guess it was worth it then. I thought he was gonna get back up, but he didn't. He still didn't get up from here, and he begins to try to cook, try to make amends with his wife for how he's been treating her and how he's been acting toward her. And I love this situation too, just showing the progress between them. And he was just saying how he doesn't mean to be hard, but he had his second reign with what he thought may be death, and he just because he was so afraid due to the previous situation, this is what it is. And she said, yeah, you have been hard on me, and I just want to support you as best as I can. Did y'all think about their dynamic or situation?
I loved it and appreciated it because they were both able to be vulnerable with each other. Because even Quentin was just like, when Kennedy called me dad, he was like, I started crying. And he was just like, I don't want to leave y'all. Y'all are my family. So it's gotten to the point to where he's no longer thinking just of what he wants, but he's thinking about his family. He's like, I don't want to leave y'all. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to do what I need to do to make sure I'm in y'all's life, to make sure he's in his daughter's life. And then that's when Shelby was like, Quentin, I love you. You are my soul. It was cute. It was adorable. You ain't like that? How I know? It was going to be on my album next summer. Damn, okay.
You yeah, keep it up there. All right, so Harper, he gets with Mia. They get going out through the park. They, enjoying their family dad time. Baby Mia, she gives a homeless man her sandwich. Dad was like, "What? You good? What's going on?" He was like, "Well, I'll eat again." But he may not. So you can just see the influence that Robin is having on her. He sees it. And he goes to drop her back off to her mom. He said he's withdrawing the custody claim. He said they'll figure it out best way they can. And we got this Gladys Knight and the Pips. Neither one of us want to be the first to say goodbye. It gets the plan, and I get the, get that little glory tear.
You start crying.
I said the glory tear against it. You know what I'm saying?
So you start crying.
Nah, it's a glory tear. So it's a difference between that and crying. I didn't sniffle, not one time. So so he in the bed alone. He finna go say bye, and he's just like, we can figure this out. Like, don't leave, please don't leave. And he said, basically said, I'll be whatever version that you need me to be. Like, I can't lose you. And she was like, I gotta go. Like, I don't want to leave, but I gotta go. Like, it's over with.
She said, "You'll never change. You are who you are. You'll never change." I was just like,
yeah, and it was the baby in the car crying. She reaching back she put her hand down. I was like, no, look, what's wrong with her? Right, that's the only time I was like, Robin ain't nothing, man. What's wrong with her? That's some bull crap. Oh man.
She was like, "Let him go, honey. Let him go."
Man, and then he goes back into the house. He sit there, he crying till he can't cry no more. He done cry from the daylight to the moon night, if it just going. But he couldn't top the song. Like, the song was more emotional, impactful, but he couldn't tap this. He couldn't touch the Morris saying and Holiday. When he did that, he killed that. So that's kind of hard to compete with. But the scene was definitely impactful because I felt that. Like, I don't think he was intentionally trying to ruin his marriage, but he never stopped to actually try to figure it out neither, though. You know what I'm saying? It's, too caught up into his own life. And they at the house, and then all the boys come over. All the boys come over to that's life, right? Like, nigga, you down today, but shit, you got tomorrow. You gotta keep it moving. We gotta keep it moving. So they come in. What you gonna say, Chris?
I was gonna say that was your perfect opportunity to quote Gorilla.
Gorilla, yeah. Nah,
I thought this was about to do.
I did it already. I've done it already. I'm not gonna keep on. I ain't gonna keep on quoting her. But they come in. They get it together. They just like, yeah, whatever. They set the table up. They get the snacks. They get the food. They just keep on running it the way it's supposed to be ran. Which we seen like a nice little. We seen that little edit today, of how they edited that scene together, because Quentin wasn't really there in there, and they had to edit him in not Photoshop, but yeah, just edit him into the scene with a green screen. That's what I was looking for. And then Murch, he plays "Keep Your Head in the Sky" by Earth, Wind and Fire, just making sure because everybody at this point, you got Lance, he's learning his son. You got Murch dealing with the sexual assault with his wife. You got Quentin, who's faced death twice in his own life. Yeah, Harper going through his situation. So it's everybody they just keep it, and then they just Morris perfect saying, "I'm gonna run Boston on y'all niggas." And I was like, yeah, that was. I said if he did, I hope he did. That was like an improv line. He probably that was perfect. That was perfect. Given that scene.
Yeah.
And so we got what's her name?
Jordan.
Jordan and her meeting. Jordan getting killed. Everybody, I need this. We need to do this. We need your face here. We need you over here. We need you to do this. I need you for this. And Jordan's like, yeah, I'm gonna holler at y'all. And she leaves out, break my soul playing. What you think about this, Jazz? Her taking the reins of her life.
I thought it was about time. Stop trying to put your career at the forefront of everything and missing out on great adventures, great experiences, loves. Just why are you laughing?
I'm laughing at Jason. Look at his face. Because I know what he's thinking, so we just go.
Right, he probably just thinking about Nia walking down the street in that red suit. That's probably all he's thinking about.
Break my soul. Yeah.
I was like, Ime Udoka. But what was you doing?
So, but yeah, I was proud of her. I was glad that she was finally able to be like, I got to step away. And sometimes you got to do that. So.
Yeah, you do. And like I said, she's speaking with Harper, and she said she didn't quit. She just pivoted. She's working on passion projects as opposed to being tied to a company where she's required to do. She can now do what she wants to do, and also focus on her mental health. And this, it's almost like Harper is trying to play up on to Jordan, given everything that's transpired within that time frame. She told me, I can't be a soft place to land, which was, you got to have that boundary for that situation, even if you love him or in love with him. because like I said, he's been with this woman. He chose her. There was again, go back to what Quinn said. That is a choice, a consequence that you have to deal with. Like, there was somebody you was with for 20 years. You had the opportunity to be with me. That's not what you chose. That's not what you want to do. You picked who you want to be with. They said, "I love you" to each other, of course, and they kissed. Yeah, these weirdos. And they go and it fast forward like 2 years. Harper has won that Pulitzer Prize, and it gets flashed back to the way the show begins is him accepting his reward and actually speaking to him in this forum about the Pieces of Us book, which is a reconstruction of a love story. And it was that he was allowed to finally push himself forward. And then, of course, we have this little montage of the Alicia Myers, "I Want to Thank You," which I guess it was, thank God, also thank the cast and thank us for watching the show. And it kind of shows everything that, I wish it showed everybody, but it didn't show everybody.
Yeah.
It does show Lance, he's engaged to Jasmine. It shows Candance wrote that article about the not, I guess they took down the
That's a dude.
no, the Dr. Temple. They took Dr. Temple down.
I hated
She
this
got-
picture that they used. Like,
I did too.
It looked
Like, they could have,
terrible.
like, come on, they ain't do my girl right at all. They ain't do it right at all. I put that in my note. They couldn't get a real shot. Like, it couldn't just be a live photo of her getting her, like, going across the stage, getting her.
Or just them together, because it was other women that also spoke on them. So I'm just like, so y'all couldn't, they just look like statues. I was like, this could have been a lot better.
Man, yep, and then I guess Shelby's selling glasses now. Like, it looks like she was selling. But I guess it would make sense given everybody was losing their sight throughout the series. But that was the conclusion.
But you forgot the surprise of Harper. Harper was on the phone with
Mia. Yeah, with Mia. So after the reading of his book, he's speaking with Robin. She's able to congratulate him. And he's looking for Mia. Mia's nowhere to be found. And she said, "I'll let you speak to her whenever she comes." And then I guess they still talking because he thanks her for just being Robin, for being who she is, and supporting him, over the years, and through the time. She was like, "Hey, you got to visit her." And of course, Mia pops up. She's back from Ghana for a moment to visit Daddy with her grandparent. So yeah,
that was a great scene.
It was cute. It was cute. She was a very beautiful child. That was the conclusion.
How did y'all enjoy the bloopers?
I didn't see all of them. I'm be honest.
I did.
Yeah.
I love bloopers. I love bloopers.
Yeah, he was. Tay D was messing up everything. But that's online, right? That's on point.
I love when he was just like, "Fuck you, Malcolm."
Oh, but she got Demetrius' name wrong. I saw that.
Right.
I feel like that's what Jazz. Yeah, that's
you saw Nia got it wrong.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. At the door.
Yeah,
that's what I thought of when Jazz said it. Yeah.
Me too.
I love when movies, like comedies, like definitely show the bloopers, because you get to see the chemistry amongst the cast. And like, these individuals have been working together for years. Like, you got movies where a bunch of them branch off to be in other stuff. So just to see all of them together, I thought was great.
Yeah. So even when they were, even with the dancing, they were dancing. It was just like it was just them dancing. You could say something, Chris?
No, because Jazz mentioned them branching out, and All American. Tay Diggs is on there. Morris Chestnut is on there now. Apparently, I didn't know that. So I was just like, So I was like, they really sticking together.
Only person I haven't seen in anything is Shelby.
Oh yeah,
like,
I can't recall anything with her.
But I think she's done, like, she's funny. I like her character. So, but was there anything else y'all wanted to add?
No, just like, was it good though? I loved it personally. What about y'all?
I loved it.
Definitely. I enjoyed it. I thought the topics and discussions that they hit on were very important, and it's good to bring it to light. So, do y'all think this was truly the final chapters? Do y'all think we'll probably get another movie, or are they just
They
like,
gotta.
all right?
I
You
mean,
think so?
they can leave it as is, but I would like to see the Harper and Jordan see what because I mean it left a lot of things
Kind of
open.
Yeah.
But I mean that's typically that's the best ones. You leave it kind of like where you can just leave it that way. It doesn't have to be, but it'll be dope to see what happened with them.
Would it be wrong if Robin come back with Jaha?
No, they're divorced.
I like that energy. Because some people might be like, "Oh, she was plotting on him the whole time." If she was a pop up with him,
I mean, they already had him. You know, she was already emotionally invested in him. So you're divorced now, might as well. She gonna go.
That's how people do it. You know, once y'all over with, you can it's free reign to do whatever. I guess. But who did y'all have any ledges for the show?
I can't think of any legends I had.
Outside the poor stuff now.
Yeah, that was the only thing, but it wasn't enough for me to just like look at it in a bad way. I just thought it was kind of unrealistic that Jasmine would come all the way over and not tell Lance, but you know.
He said, you in my city? She ain't just visiting, bro. She done moved.
Yeah, got a job and everything. But you know, Mercury, retrograde.
Mercury retrograde, yeah.
Yeah, so
Gatorade, all that good stuff.
she had to scope out the city before hitting up Lance. She was like, "Let me see if I can find something on my own, but if not, then I'm gonna hit him up." Maybe.
And then also you got that, and who's y'all link of thumbs?
I'll go first. So my link of thumbs is gonna be Nia Long. And I'm sorry, not Nia Long, I'm tripping. Sanaa Lathan. And she was in Now You See Me Too. Have y'all seen that?
I never seen part 2. I love 1, never seen 2 though.
Yeah, part 2 has I'm about to call him Harry Potter, Daniel Radcliffe. You know, the woman from the first one, you know, the woman from the Four Horsemen, she wasn't in it. They replaced her. But everybody else is. I liked it. That's one of my one of the best scenes. I know y'all probably, I don't know if y'all seen the scene, like the card scene. Okay.
I'm gonna watch it.
Okay. I love that movie. So yeah, Now You See Me Too. She played one of the, I think she was a cop or detective, something like that.
Okay. I will go next. Mine is going to be Morris Chestnut, and he was in When the Bow Breaks. He was in there with Regina Hall.
They branch out.
Well, who was the wife?
Regina Hall. Jazz Sinclair was the crazy love interest.
I thought that was Regina Hall. Yeah. I don't know why my mind, bro.
I don't either.
Bro, somebody else.
Yeah. It must have been another one. You talking about Not Easily Broken, that Tyler Perry movie?
It was one, you know, it was, I feel like him and what's the light skinned crazy looking boy's name?
Michael Ealy.
Oh,
Michael Ealy.
That was another one with him and Sanaa Lathan.
Isn't that A Perfect Stranger or something like that?
Yeah, they man, what's up with these? They boy, I tell you what.
Damn,
I tell you what.
Michael Ealy in another one with Hilary Swank. I watched that the other day. He
made that crazy role.
Man.
He plays it good though.
Yeah, too good. I'm gonna do Melissa DeSosa. This was Shelby. So she actually was in a show I loved, Our Kind of People. They canceled it a bit too early. But she was in that. But I'm gonna go with Our Kind of People.
Okay.
Our Kind of People. They got the dad from Scandal in it. It has Yaya from American Next Top Model. Morris Chestnut is in it. And the lady from not Mr. Payne, but the Browns. He's the wife from Mr. Brown. She's in there as well. I love this series because Morris Chestnut and the dad from Scandal, they be going back and forth like it's Scandal or something. So watching them.
I forgot she was in the movie Ride.
Right.
It's an old movie that came out in the 90s.
Oh, with the bus with
yeah.
See, I'm gonna go with Our Kind of People. That was it.
That's funny because Jazz just mentioned, well, one of y'all mentioned that Shelby not in a bunch of stuff, and then that shit make it thumbs up. I like that.
It was me. I said I don't know her in a lot of stuff, but then I was just like, Jason didn't say anything when I said that, and I was just like, Why she?
Soon as you said I looked it up, I'm like, oh yeah, let me go this way with it. But you're right. She's not in a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah, she ain't been nothing in a while, but I like her. She's good.
Yeah, but I think that was it. Did you have an agree to disagree?
I do not have one.
Got you. Because I was gonna say, man, Harper's been after on the rewatch, it made my stomach hurt watching him. Like the decisions he was making and the things he was doing. I was just like,
wouldn't the parameters be different than our first one? Because the first
It
one
would.
was involving Mia, but
man,
the
who
villain
was
between him and
I feel like we were gonna say
Robin?
who was wrong in the Robin and Harper situation, but I like or who or do you I guess you could say who do you think Robin was wrong? Like in how she presented that situation. I mean, I feel like that'd be a nice agree to disagree because you felt she was wrong. I don't
Taking
think
Mia
she
to
was.
Ghana.
Yeah, I don't think she was wrong.
That was crazy.
It's
She just
crazy.
sprung it on him.
I don't think she was wrong though.
I think she was wrong because of how she presented that in that meeting. That seems like something y'all need to have a discussion on before y'all get here. But for her saying, I didn't bring it up because I knew how you were going to react. It's like you blindsided me. It's like, that's touchy. So like,
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear what you have to say about that, Jason.
So it's just a thing of being in the situation, right? Because it's not a thing of she didn't disrespect them, she didn't go crazy or nothing. She was just like, I'm moving, and like the opportunity was presented to you. You gave me custody. So once you give me custody, because you can't make that decision based on I think you going. It's a thing of I know. You know what I'm saying? Like so it was so if anything, I would have split the custody. There wouldn't have been a situation where I'm giving you full custody just so you can ride out. Because at that point, you have no say in it. You've given up your right to say or do anything in that. So yes, it may feel like she blindsided you, but once you give up custody, there's nothing you can say in it. Like I'm at this point, you have to play ball with how I see it. So that's why I feel differently about it.
So I guess if that's the case, do you think if she would have presented him, me and Mia moving to Ghana before even throwing out the custody papers, do you think she waited to throw that spade out until after she knew she got full custody?
It's a very good possibility. It's a very good possibility because I know people to be in a super spiteful situation, and with her having 20 years of anger, yeah, that 20 years built up. Oh yeah, right. I'm gonna hit this nigga where it hurt.
She
right.
did. That was
not saying that that's exactly what her character did, but if you had that forethought to let me hold this information until I know I can get full custody to where he can try to go to court. And we know the court system is more lenient on the mother to where it's just like, we just gonna be out of here. He's a author that's got all these plans coming up of movies and everything to where is he going to be able to watch a child full time, even, you know, with everything that's going on. So I feel like if she would have had that forethought, that's kind of fucked up. I don't think she did, but throwing out the idea that there's a possibility is very interesting. What y'all think?
Not.
Yeah, if she did that, that was like super villain level. That's just, but I don't know. I think I don't like Jason said earlier. It's not really like a right or wrong fully. But Harper definitely could have done things and should have done things a lot better because his reasoning, what he said was he's doing it for the family, but what you're actually doing is tearing apart your family. And it's like you're so, what's the word? You're so laser focused, tunnel vision. You have so much tunnel vision on what you want to do and how you want things to be done. You're not looking out for your family. You're genuinely looking out for yourself. So he was wrong in that sense. I think Robin could have done a better job of maybe communicating that with him. But then, like I said earlier, at the same time, it's just, would he have even listened? So
right.
It's just tough. But just putting it out there, you know, for her to communicate, I think that would have at least it would have made it so that, okay, I'm heard and you're not listening, so I'm done, as opposed to putting Harper in a situation where he feels like he has to read her mind. So I guess that would be my only thing with Robin, but Harper, he was just set on doing things his way.
Yeah, his track record wasn't
Exactly.
the best. So that's
Exactly.
not telling what was gonna happen there. But yeah, that's my. I don't think she was wrong person. Just bring it on.
Okay.
Because he gave up custody. Once you do that, there's no more saying what she can do, how she do it, and when she does it. Bucko thought you got out easy, you know.
But even with the Ghana situation, wasn't like he was surprised when she mentioned moving to Ghana initially, right? Like she didn't, so it's just she just wasn't telling him. She was just like, I'm done talking.
Yeah. She had gave him ample opportunity to make a decision. He made his decision.
Yeah,
he picked the consequences. That's that.
Yeah, Dukes was the nail in the coffin right there. That was just it.
Hell no, it was more than Dukes. Hell, he got a whole bunch of nails in the coffins. He was nailing that bitch nailing that bitch every episode. He would put a new nail in the coffin. but that's my thought in that. Jazz. You have anything else on agree to disagree?
No, I don't.
Gotcha.
Why when you said nail in the coffin, my first thing I thought of Kill Bill when they buried her alive. That's crazy. I don't know how it works.
Do you have any other thought? Who's closing this out?
So episode I'll take it. 35, we on episode 35.
Yeah.
Again, all the continued support, likes, follows, subscriptions, especially the likes. The likes been going up, so I like that. And our views as well. Follow us on IG if you haven't already. We just hit 500 followers, so really proud of that. Cheers to 500 more. We're gonna keep it going, and just all the support. I'm always gonna appreciate the support, so that's what I got.
Yeah, well, we appreciate you guys. Thank you, Jazz.
Live pod next month. That's all I got.
Live pod next month. We lit, baby.